Should be audio now. Golly. Sorry about that. I was talking, how many minutes was I talking for with no audio? About 7? It is embarrassing. Why have I don't understand how I keep doing this. I'm so stupid. I've done that multiple times on the channel before. I feel like this season in particular, I've done that like 3 or 4 times. All right, well, we're live. San Diego Street Course, Navy 250 for the Craftsman Truck Series. Yes, you can hear me loud and clear now. I went through the starting lineup for the race already. I went through everything in the pre-race. Now I got to retrace my steps, started back up at the top of the show. Welcome, everybody. San Diego Street Course weekend. NASCAR celebrating the 250th anniversary of America. NASCAR, in doing so, racing at Naval Base Coronado, just outside of San Diego, California, for back-to-back, West Coast races, both on road course and/or street course layouts. And for this weekend, it is the second street course race of the Truck Series schedule, as they raced in St. Petersburg back in race number 3 earlier this season. Winner of that race, Lane Riggs, will be starting on the front row. The only other road course race winner this year, Caden Honeycutt, starting on the pole in this one. He got his first career win at Watkins Glen earlier in the season. Other notable headlines coming into this weekend's race: Jimmy Johnson will be making just his second Truck Series start ever, his first at Bristol more than a decade ago, and he will be in the one truck for Tricon Garage Great Equipment, and he qualified pretty spectacularly earlier this afternoon. He'll be starting in the 4th spot inside the top 5. Tight battle for the Chase cut line. You can see the points scrolling across the top of the screen. Relatively short race by way of laps, 50 laps in length today, with only 12 laps in both Stage 1 and Stage 2. But the caution's probably going to be a little bit long because it is a 3.4-mile road course layout. So although it's only 50 laps, it is still quite a few miles to get through today's race, and as well as the rest of the races this weekend. This is the longest course in the NASCAR Cup, Truck, and O'Reilly Series in 2026. And a first time street course layout. And usually when we see first times in NASCAR across the top 3 series, it can be a little bit chaotic. I will say the Truck Series, for the most part, did a pretty good job at St. Petersburg earlier this season. Got a little sloppy in Stage 2 in that race, but for the most part, Stage 1, Stage 3 went on pretty much like a normal road course race that you would see in a Truck Series race. I'd almost argue Watkins Glen was way more out of control than St. Petersburg. I don't know what we're going to see tonight. Maybe a balance of both, far end or the other, who knows. But it's going to be a fun night, and it's going to be a fun weekend of racing here in San Diego. Street course for the 4th consecutive year in the NASCAR Cup Series side of things. All 3 series have been on the racetrack already today with practice sessions throughout the afternoon. Truck Series actually had 2 practice sessions and a qualifying session prior to the race today. And for the O'Reilly Cup Series, they've both been on track for practice, but they will qualify late tomorrow morning and early tomorrow afternoon local time. We'll be live for all of this weekend's events from now through the rest of the weekend. Truck Series race, obviously, right now. We will also be live for the O'Reilly race tomorrow evening. We'll be live for NASCAR Cup Series qualifying before the O'Reilly race tomorrow afternoon. And on Sunday, late afternoon start, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Race will go live just after 4 p.m. Eastern, San Diego, for the NASCAR Cup Series. Naval Base Coronado. Ready for this one. Believe a 14-turn road course. 16-turn road course with this 3.4-mile layout. And I think it's time to go through the starting lineup for tonight's race. Kicking things off with Caden Honeycutt, who won the last road course race at Watkins Glen, his only career Truck Series win. Lane Riggs, most wins on the season with 3. Also had a win at St. Pete, and also the series points leader coming into this weekend's race. And row number 2 will be Chandler Smith, who's still sitting with 1 win on the season at Daytona, alongside Jimmy Johnson, who starts in the 4th place position this evening, making his second career truck start. And row number 3 will be Grant Edfinger, still around the chase bubble, and Gio Ruggiero, who sits still top 5 in points. Row number 4 for Andres Perez and Ty Majeski. Landon Lewis, Parker Kligerman rounding out the top 10 in row number 5. Kligerman, a road course winner in the Truck Series level in that same 75 truck he won at Mid-Ohio a few years ago. We'll see if he can maybe double down and have a good performance this evening in a part-time effort. Connor Mosack, Tyler Ankrum will bring up row number 6. Behind them in row 7 will be the two-time series champion Ben Rhodes and Tyler Wright. In row number 6 will be Corey LaJoie, Kaz Grala. Grala, good road course racer to watch for in that 62 for Friesen Hallmar Racing. In row number 9 will be Justin Haley and Dawson Sutton. And rounding out the top half of the field, row 10, Jake Garcia, who sits right on the chase bubble as well, and Nathan Nicholson. Jamie McMurray is back in the field, driving the number 25 Dodge Ram this evening. One of 3 former Cup Series drivers to race that truck this year alongside Tony Stewart and Clint Boyer. Now McMurray getting a crack at it. Stuart Friesen will be in row number 11 alongside McMurray. In row number 12, the rookie Minnie Tyrell and Chris Wright. In row 13, Cole Butcher, Jackson Lee. Frankie Muniz with Brennan Gaughan in row 14. Row 15, Austin Varco and Christian Eckes. Row 16 for Justin Marks, who is another road course winner in the 77 truck for Spire Motorsports. He actually crashed in practice. He'll be in a backup car, but rolls off 31st today. Daniel Hemrick also starting deep in the field in 32nd. Those two, again, row 16. Row 17 will be Adam Andretti, who we saw at St. Pete earlier this season, and Brennan Queen, another rookie in the field. And Tanner Gray brings up the back end of the pack in 35th. Row 18 all alone back there, starting in last. He, too, in a backup car following a crash in on-track activity earlier this afternoon. 16 turns, 10 of them left, 6 right-handers, 3.4 miles. The track, Naval Base, Coronado Street Course. San Diego, California for 2 consecutive weeks for a mini West Coast trip to start the summer on Father's Day weekend, with San Diego this week and Sonoma next weekend in Northern Cal. Bam Hall, Joe Rochester, Connor Burke, Dean Tate, Wade, Kyle Riker, Kenneth Clark, Fall, Joe Rochester. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sorry for the audio struggles there in the early couple minutes as well. I apologize for that. I don't know where my mic's at. I'm going to have to try to find it, so if I sound a little fuzzy right now, I'm going to have to try to find the mic. I don't know where it got placed. I think it got swept up from my work desk after last weekend's streams. Also want to apologize for the fact, for those of you that were listening and or watching live last Sunday, I lost power with about 40 to 50 laps to go in the NASCAR Cup race at Pocono. Right as the final caution of the race ended up coming out with J.J. Yaley, Casey Mears, having a tire come off his race car. Right as the caution was coming out, I lost power. I only lost power for about 2 to 3 minutes, but unfortunately the internet was knocked out for well over an hour, so I wasn't able to actually get the stream back up and running. And by the time I did get the internet back, there was literally only like 6 laps to go in the race, so it wasn't worth me getting on. By the time I would have actually fired everything back up with those 6 laps to go, the race might have been over anyway, and I didn't want to do a post-race for something that I ended up missing the last, again, roughly hour of the race. So I apologize for that. Hopefully we don't have any more issues with that. It is scary for me going forward because I am in a new apartment. If you've wondered why there's a new background over the last couple of months, I did move. That's the first of the power has gone out, but we also haven't really had a lot of storms since I moved. We've had a bit of a drought. So when we had the couple of thunderstorms, the power went out that night. It ended up going out again later that evening, well after the race, like 2 hours later, it was out again. And the internet did not take over an hour to reboot that time, but it did take a good like 30 minutes plus to reboot. So hopefully we don't have issues with that going forward. There was another night earlier this week. We had storms in the middle of the night. The power got cut out when I was sleeping, and I didn't realize it until I woke up, and then like the fan was turned off, and I was sweating profusely because the power was out, and didn't turn the fan back on. So do I have a hotspot? I do have a hotspot. The problem is I have to be connected to internet to get it. So if the power is knocked out, I'm not getting any internet access, I can't run the hotspot. Otherwise, yes, that would be an alternative, but I mean, if there's no power, there's really nothing I can do. Um, so hopefully, I just have a bad feeling that this place I'm living in, storms simply knock out the power. Hopefully, we don't have too many more issues with that the rest of the season. Um, this is the first, obviously, we've had this issue in the last couple of months. So hopefully, we don't lose power. It's supposed to be good weather this weekend. I'm not supposed to get any rain, so that's good. Just got to hope that all runs good. I need a generator. I don't think I can run a generator in the apartment. I got too many people living around me, unfortunately. Yeah, that's not I don't know that's gonna be very loud. Especially to run that in the middle of the night. Get some noise complaints. AJF, welcome to the stream as well.
This with pride for all the sailors that are watching this
Race on Fox Sports 1.
military across the country. Vice Crew Chief Scott Zimadelli gave him some great advice coming into the weekend, told him to drive this track at 70% and like he is in rain conditions. Well, Josh, if that's what he was up to earlier today, Caden's looking just fine out there.
Well, Lane Riggs is going to start on the front row next to Caden Honeycutt, and Lane has turned himself into a pretty good road course racer. He's the most recent winner on a street course that happened in late February at St. Pete. They brought a brand new truck for today, but a similar setup to what they had at St. Pete, and they were the fastest at practice. But then during qualifying, Lane did scrape the wall. He told me it was just cosmetic. He told me flat out, we are the truck to beat in today's race. So look out for Lane Riggs to try and find his way to victory lane again on a street course out here today. Caitlin?
Well, Josh, a lot of teams facing adversity starting this morning in practice. It's a long list of competitors who had contact with the wall or a series of other issues. There are 4 drivers who are going to a backup truck for this race today, one of them being Tanner Gray. I had a chance to talk with him earlier, and he said, I always have faith and confidence in our trucks, whether it's a primary or a backup. But he said, for a guy who's not great at road course racing, this is definitely a setback for us. But he said, this racetrack, it is unforgiving. It does not allow any room for mistakes. That is something that we all learned in practice today. So a number of drivers are going to be making their way to the front from the back. Jamie?
Yeah. There are 4 trucks in particular who will be in backup trucks for this evening's race after crashes earlier today. 170 miles for the 50 laps in today's race. The fuel window is about 16 to 18 laps. Obviously, we haven't raced here before, so that's a very rough guesstimate. But again, 16 to 18 laps. They will not have to pit for fuel purposes in stages 1 or 2, but in the final stage, with that being 26 laps, it's going to be very tight on fuel by the time we get going green to begin the final stage. Get a couple caution laps in there, probably end up restarting with about 22, 23 laps to go. And if you can run about 18 laps on fuel, it's going to be tough to save about 4 or 5 laps of gas on a 3.4 mile road course. But if we get some cautions, you never know. So we may see quite a bit of pit strategy today. More than likely, we're not going to see as many drivers, if I had to guess, flip the stage in stage 2 as much as stage 1. I could be wrong. I'm no crew chief, but I'll just let the teams do the strategy game. We'll watch, and I'll try to keep up with it the best I can to relay those messages to you throughout tonight's live commentary stream. Lights are out on the pace truck. They should be going green this time by. Beautiful sunshiny day in San Diego, right on the Pacific Ocean. With this layout, very beautiful to see the ocean in play on a NASCAR racetrack. Maybe not in play on a NASCAR racetrack, but on the outside of the actual track itself. See downtown San Diego from afar. Across that said bay. Dodge Ram pace truck. Bringing the field around the bus stop. And it is going to race away from the lead pack, so that way we can get this thing underway. Pace truck is on pit road. Field ready to rumble past the start finish. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Navy 250 in San Diego. Tight nose-to-nose battle down into the first turn between our front row starters. Caden Honeycutt, Lane Riggs as they nearly make contact up out of the first turn. Honeycutt is clear. But Riggs, while settling in second, I wouldn't say it was so settling that he was able to keep his truck off of the 11, but he's definitely not giving him a lot of room in these next couple of corners on the opening lap of the race. Already looking to make some passes. As most street course layouts would be, there aren't as many passing opportunities, but Riggs looking to capitalize on this first lap to get by the pole sitter Honeycutt. There's a lot of aggressiveness right off the rip. 2 pass attempts now failed, one in the first turn, one in the middle of the racetrack for Lane Riggs. But even when backing out to give Honeycutt a little bit of room, and really each other both enough room to make clean corners around this race truck, Riggs has not slipped back by much. Clean air is going to be king here this afternoon. We'll see how much, again, the strategy is going to really play into effect with minimal passing opportunities. This is a very bumpy course based off of practice across all 3 series earlier today. There will be quite a bit of tire degradation. So while these 2 drivers who started on the front row pushing pretty hard right off the opening lap of the race, maybe got to be careful pushing too hard too early in the run. The good news is with this first stage only being 12 laps, even if we went green all the way through, it's not very long. You can maybe get away with having that short stint in this stage, but when you have to go a full fuel run in the final stage, maybe not going to want to push quite as hard as these leaders are pushing now. Still working the first lap of the race around this very, very long course layout. Leader at the end of lap 1 is our pole sitter, Caden Honeycutt, with Lane Riggs in second. Jimmy Johnson up to third place. Chandler Smith in fourth, and Grant Enfinger rounding out the top 5 and fifth at the end of lap 1. Good start for Jimmy. Good to see him, not just in 1, but 2 races this weekend. Obviously in the truck race right now, but he'll be running in the Cup Series for his own team, Legacy Motor Club, in the 84 car yet again. It'll be the second to last Cup Series start for Jimmy Johnson in his career. It was announced already that his next and final Cup start will be the Daytona 500 of next season. So not going to be seeing Jimmy Johnson too much more, especially in the NASCAR ranks here going forward, at least on the track. Obviously, being an owner at Legacy Motor Club, part owner in that race team, and seeing them perform as well as they have in the last couple of weeks at both Pocono and Michigan in the Cup Series. Top 5s in back-to-back races, with Nemechek finishing 4th last week and Eric Jones 2nd the week before. Nemechek actually led the second most laps, only behind Denny Hamlin last weekend at Pocono as well. That was a great run for that 42 car. All right, well, after about half a lap of Riggs not being able to make a pass on Caden Honeycutt, then kind of sitting behind him in the back half of the opening lap, he is now on the attack again towards the end of lap number 2. Bob made contact with the right rear corner panel of Honeycutt's race truck, and I almost wouldn't even doubt that they did make contact. I'll tell you what, obviously with the tighter confines that a street course has, it kind of makes the appearance of just the sense of speed look a lot greater than most racetracks or purpose-built racetracks, but also at the same time, there are some really long straightaways around this very long course, which could create for many more passing opportunities than we would see on typical street course layouts. And Riggs trying to capitalize on that in turn 2. Gets to the inside of Honeycutt. They'll drag race now down the next straightaway for turn 3. Riggs a lot deeper into the braking zone and has the left-hand inside corner. Honeycutt nearly brushes the wall off the outside, trying to pick the throttle up soon. Nearly got into it too soon, and Riggs is clear for the lead. Lap 3, our first lead change already. After Caden Honeycutt not getting any breathing room right out of the gate, Lane Riggs finally able to shoot out ahead. With the early lead. About a 2/10 of a second advantage over Honeycutt is now Honeycutt going to try to trail in the draft behind Riggs down these long straightaways. Maybe figure out where Riggs is beating him by just simply driving behind him and make the adjustments behind the wheel necessary. Now that he's in traffic for the first time, the turn in the truck might be a little bit harder versus when he did have the clean air. Jimmy Johnson about 1.3 seconds back in the third place position, still very tight to the leaders, and then a bigger gap back to the 3.1 second deficit for the fourth place truck Chandler Smith. And Grant Enfinger about a 10th behind him in fifth. Still the top 5 in the running order. We are through 3 laps. Riggs leading his first after Honeycutt led the first 2.
Times, Caden Honeycutt got his first career win a few weeks ago. But you see the points earned. It's close in the standings, but it's those extra wins for Lane Riggs. The 26 goes around. That's Dawson Sutton.
See the black marks. He slid just short of the wall there. Front's probably struggling to get it refired. Gets that thing going again. We can stay under green.
I want to give a shout out to all these teams and all the patriotic paint schemes, guys. They did a great job. You see the 76. That's Nathan Nicholson with some damage.
He's a road racer. Talked to Nathan yesterday. Very optimistic about his chances. He's been really fast when he goes road racing in Spencer Boyd's truck. Looks like he might have had maybe contact with Dawson. Is that what happened?
Well, let's see what happened right here. See the 76 dive in the corner, gets loose, gets into the back of Dawson Sutton, just lost control of that truck, getting in
that corner. Synchronized spinning there. I guess Nicholson was able to keep his engine running. He drove away. Thanks, Brendan, right now.
So caution is out now for that incident.
Way. And so can we. What a start.
Great start. 4 laps in the books. Caden Honeycutt has led 2 of them. Lane Riggs for 2. It's all about this.
Disgusting. I think yeah, we have audio now. My mic is not working for some reason. Mic is not working. Well, hopefully it works tomorrow. I don't know what's going on with my mic. I'm glad to know it's not my fault this time. Unless I broke my mic somehow, but I don't know how I did that. Dude knew.
The energy around
Under
this
caution.
event, being here on the naval base, the sailors. You know, Jamie, we were out on that ship last night. You just can't really put into words the magnitude of the feeling of this event. It's just huge.
Well, there isn't, and we've talked about this before. There's not any other sport that celebrates our military like NASCAR does, and to see NASCAR and the Navy and the whole base here together to put this event on. I know it took a couple years to put all this into place, but you see a lot of smiling faces, whether it's in the garage or all those sailors sitting there watching this race. This is so out of the ordinary to do something like this. And from the moment that I've walked into this racetrack, it's just been an unbelievable experience. And that says it all right there. This isn't just a race, it's a mission.
Well, this base right here opened in 1917. They have never seen anything like this take over on their base, and it's been so fun to watch the reaction. Well, Amanda is standing by with a very special guest. What's his reaction to all of this?
Oh, yeah, and our three-time funny car champion at the National Hot Rod Association has a big smile on his face, too, hanging out with his top fuel driver, Maddie Gordon, as well. And, Ron, this is like a home race for you in your backyard. How are you enjoying the off weekend?
Well, this is great. Maddie flew down. I picked her up this morning, and she'd never been to a NASCAR race. So to hang out with all the guys, Daniel Hemrick tuning them in. Maddie's getting her first taste on the pit box, so it's a lot of fun. I cannot believe the atmosphere here. This is incredible, as you know, but it's a lot of NHRA fans here as well. So FS1, Fox, we love you guys.
Thank you to Ron Capps. Jamie, it's an anniversary year for the National Hot Rod Association as well, celebrating 75 years.
Maddie, I'm told that is the future. So good luck to her. Glad to see them here. And Ron Capps, Southern California guy, bringing in new race fans.
A lot of energy there. We talk about how fun it is to be on the base. You go to an HRA race or watch it on FS1, Capps is on the gas and great guy that really loves what he gets to do.
And that ship, there isn't a bad seat.
No.
Brought in the grandstands. They're standing on all levels of it.
Kevin, do you think we're going to see any action on pit road? I hear talk in the garage area. Some of these teams might pit before the end of the first stage to try to flip the stage, if you will. It's a little early, but there's so many trucks that are in the back because of repairs. If you need any work, this is a great opportunity to do it.
Yeah, well, adjust on your truck, and at a bare minimum, just keep it full of fuel. If you have the thing full of fuel, it gives you more options as you go down the road. You know, as we look at you know, being at the beginning part of this race, and you just want to create more options for yourself. So if you're in the back, why not? Just get the strategy mixed up and come to pit road and see what happens with the next caution, because you might be able to flip them right after that.
There's the entrance to pit road. You can see most of our front runners, as we expected, are passing the trip to the right. But I think some of the guys in the back will take this opportunity to work on their trucks.
Just 4 laps in here. All right, we have some takers from mid-pack. The 81 and Chris Wright. A couple other takers.
I like
Yeah, they listen to you guys.
I like this a lot. I mean, you gotta understand how difficult it is to move through all these trucks, all the moving parts and pieces. Just do something different than the competition and give yourself an opportunity to gain track position that way.
Caitlin, looks like some fuel-only options. Yeah, and Michael, you were talking about teams that are mired in the back. One of them is Gio Ruggiero. He had that damage on the left side from qualifying, so I just talked to his crew chief, Jeff Stankowitz. He said, Gio telling us the brakes aren't as good as they were earlier, so he said, we've just been stuck in traffic, so they are one of the ones electing to pit. Jamie? Yeah, so some tires there, 4 tires all around for Gio Ruggiero.
Yeah, when you're stuck in traffic, the airflow doesn't get quite as good as it does normally, and you're using them harder because of all the trucks you're trying to maneuver around. So that's not unexpected.
All right, so 4 laps in. First caution. And what a beautiful backdrop here at Coronado Island, just across the bridge from downtown San Diego. Picture perfect. Stay with us. So much more racing action to come.
All right, so under caution for the first time today, there was contact on track between the 76 of Nathan Nicholson, the 26 of Dawson Sutton, which spun Sutton around. There was some debris left behind after Sutton had finally been able to drive away from the spin after having to wait for traffic to clear out. So that would be the reason for why we're under caution. And again, it is the first yellow of the race, and this came out on lap 4. Working lap 5 right now in stage 1. Under the caution, Lane Riggs is the leader with Caden Honeycutt in second, Jimmy Johnson third, Chandler Smith fourth, and Ty Majeski rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Grant Edfinger's in 6th place with Parker Kligerman 7th, Andres Perez 8th, Connor Mosack 9th, and Corey LaJoy rounding out the top 10. Tyler Ankerman 11th and Tyler Reif round out the top dozen. Getting set to go for the next restart. Yeah, I just can't use the mic tonight. I don't know what's going on. Sounds like the audio is fine when I'm using my laptop speakers, but you'll have to let me know if I have to make any adjustments there. I don't feel as bad about being on mute the first 7 minutes of the stream. Now knowing that my mic doesn't even work properly this evening anyway.
Truck Series live from San Diego. The USS Carl Vinson, the Navy, NASCAR had a joint party last night. Over 600 people just mingling about. So proud of everything that everybody has done to come together. Michael, I know you were in awe of what we saw.
Yeah, and this truck race has been something we've anticipated we've heard about it for a couple of years. Being here and seeing these guys mixing it up, great racing up front. This is all you go hope for.
All right, caution had come out. Lane Riggs was leading side by side with Caden Honeycutt. Looks just like the initial start.
All right, here we go. Green flag is going to be back in the air. Lane Riggs is going to be the control truck this time around with Caden Honeycutt right there with him. And entering through turn 1, which is kind of a kink, if you will. Mostly on throttle through the first turn. Lane Riggs is going to pull clear. Downhill into turn 2, Jimmy Johnson with an aggressive move to try to get back by Chandler Smith. Smith bested him initially on the restart. Johnson right back to the inside. He'll have the bottom lane into turn 4, which is another left-hander as well. Needs to get clear into the right-hander in turn number 4, but he's not going to be able to. Pinches Smith down a bit. Close quarters racing. And as these two continue to battle side by side through these tight corners, the top 2 are absolutely getting away from the rest of the pack. I think Johnson's later years of running several IMSA races as well as IndyCar full-time for a couple seasons has really made his road course racing a lot better, just in general. Oh, Ty Majeski sideways. Saves it. He was fishtailing all over the place. I thought for a second he was going to clean out both Grant Enfinger and Chandler Smith in front of him, but he did not. I don't know how that happened. I think he was just on the brakes hard because he was getting into the braking zone itself late. Did a fantastic job not only not looping the truck around, but also not just slamming right into the 38 truck in front of him. It was actually side-by-side traffic in front of Majeski. But he had to have blitzed the tires in that process because now he's got quite the gap between himself and the next truck in front of him, and he has got nothing but just a whole pack. Single file, double wide right in front of him. And it's probably going to be a lot of beating and banging going on in the middle of that pack. From what I've noticed with the street course race in Chicago the last few years with NASCAR, it almost seems like it's like a short track style road course race where there is quite a bit of contact with how aggressive these drivers are to still make passes in areas where otherwise you wouldn't really see passes made in a typical motorsport on this style of course. I'd almost argue it's more short track racing than actual short track racing nowadays. At least in the NASCAR realms. Kind of nice to see. Brett Whitesides, welcome to the stream. Track is going to be hard on tires. Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of tire fall off this week, and we've only had a few green flag laps at the lap 4 yellow in today's race, and I guess we'll just have to see how the cautions lay out all weekend, really. Because if we get a lot of cautions throughout every race this weekend, then the tire fall off won't be quite as extreme with less green flag laps. Caution laps ran already. We had 2 of them under a full course yellow from the lap 4 incident. So if we don't get another yellow the rest of the stage, we're looking at only 10 green flag laps for stage number 1. Pretty quick cleanup. Good job on NASCAR. They're going to try to be on top of that the best they can this weekend because of how long this course is. Caution laps going to be right around 9 minutes per caution lap. So to get the track cleaned up as quickly as possible so we get this race back into normal green flag action is going to keep the flow of it a lot better. Four laps to go in stage 1 this time by. Briggs pulling ahead from Caden Honeycutt, already over 4 seconds ahead of Jimmy Johnson in third. And 5.5 seconds to Chandler Smith in fourth. I just realized I do not have a poll up in the chat where you can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's race. Who will win the truck race in San Diego? Lane Riggs definitely looking like the one to beat right now. We'll throw the 2 road course winners this season, Lane Riggs, Caden Honeycutt, and then I'll throw Jimmy Johnson in there, because why not? Honestly, I wasn't expecting much out of Jimmy Johnson in the truck series, especially at the age he's at right now, but he has been performing very well all day. Cup Series, he was lacking behind a little bit. He had a spin, did a great job saving it in turn 1. Did a complete 360, kind of back going in the correct direction again without making contact with the wall. But I believe he was outside the top 30 overall in practice. But he has shown a lot of speed in the truck series. Great equipment also, but even still, just for not racing the truck series ever, it just goes to show Jimmy Johnson's still a world-class talent. There's a reason he's a 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, over 80 career wins. The man has accomplished about as much as one man can accomplish in this sport. Few Cup cars corded rear tires 6 laps during the first practice. Yeah, a lot of that is definitely set up as well. I mean, simulations can only do so much in preparation until you actually get the cars on the racetrack and on the real surface itself. When you're going to have your first big gauge of, okay, what do we actually have? Where do we have to go from here? And that is why NASCAR gave these teams 50 minutes of practice this weekend, with this being a new course. Got some green flag pit stops going on towards the end of stage 1. Parker Kligerman's in to try to flip the stage.
He told me earlier, racetrack, you could get things moving in the right direction and gain some points.
Yeah, you see some messy pits.
All right, so pit stops going on under green flag conditions. I believe most of the field staying out of the pits, which I'm quite surprised. Very few cars actually came in that time. Pit road closes when the race leader gets to the start-finish line with 2 laps to go in the stage. And as of right now, Lane Riggs is about to get the 2 to go this time by. Now, Riggs can choose to pit, and I don't know where his box is exactly, but if he doesn't hit the start-finish line, obviously that would go to Kate Honeycutt. If Honeycutt pits, we'll just have to see who the first car is going to be to stay out. I think Jimmy Johnson's going to flip the stage because he's not racing for points in the Truck Series, but I think it would be kind of cool to see Jimmy Johnson win a stage, not going to lie. Sitting in third. Lane Riggs, when he was out ahead, was clear and away the best truck in the St. Petersburg street race earlier this season. He is taking to this very quickly. Never ran a street race in his life up until that race earlier this year, with not being in the O'Reilly or Cup Series for any of the Chicago street race dates. And I'd say he's taken to this track much more quickly than when he was even St. Petersburg in comparison to the rest of the field. He had some bigger leads in that event at times. As the race grew later, drivers were adjusting to the track with more and more laps. Practice makes perfect. And although they narrowed the gap, it was still Lane Riggs besting the field that day. All 4 tires coming up off the ground from that big hop from Caden Honeycutt. Most of the field when going over a little hill climb, if you will. The racetrack is a very bumpy, worn out street. A lot of dips in this racetrack. I'm waiting for somebody to lose control in the race. Whether it's this race or another race this weekend over that particular area of the track. I almost wonder if the Cup cars might have more of a problem with it if the car bottoms out too badly over that bump with the rear diffuser and takes just literally all the downforce away from the race car if you damage the diffuser underneath the race car. On board with Jamie McMurray on the Fox Sports 1 broadcast. I believe McMurray was of those that hit pit road before pit road closed. We're at 2 laps to go on the stage right now. Lane Riggs stayed out on the track. He's in a battle for the regular season championship with Caden Honeycutt, so I think that's why he stayed out. with Honeycutt running in second. He didn't want to risk of Caden getting 10 points on him there. The gap is only 26 points for that regular season title between the 34 and the 11 coming into tonight. Riggs with the lead. Honeycutt sits second. Chandler Smith third in points minus 90. 114 points to Jero Ruggiero in fourth, and 118 to fifth place Christian Eckes. Much bigger gap back. Sixth in points, Ben Rhodes coming into the night. Ty Majeski seventh. Tyler Ankrum eighth. Daniel Hemrick ninth, and Jake Garcia rounds out the top 10 in points. Corey Heim in the one truck, despite only 5 starts this season in 12 truck races. He is 11th in points and 4 points out of the chase. He's won 3 of those 5 races. Stuart Friesen, 12th in points. Then you got Grant Enfinger, 13th. Brendan Queen, 14th. I'm not in the field here today, so he will fall behind in points a little bit more. And he is not chase eligible, by the way. You do have to run the full season. I'd say if you're in the top 10 in points, it doesn't matter how many races you run. I mean, at that point, if you beat out guys that qualified having to run the full schedule, I mean, you deserve the spot. But he will not be eligible if he were in the top 10, which he is very close. A little bit of cording going on. Small blister for one of those sets of tires that came up off the race truck. Wasn't sure whose pit box that was, but that was after only about 8 to 10 green flag laps. Not many. Lane Riggs with over a 5.5 second lead on the final lap of stage number 1. In our first 12 lap segment. I think a restart's going to be the only thing that's going to beat Lane Riggs tonight. A restart or a possible pit penalty or a slow pit stop that maybe puts him back in traffic a little bit. But if we get more than 2 laps into a green flag run, this guy is on another level here today. Stuart Gilbert, welcome to the stream. Your uncle works on this base. That's awesome, man. That's very cool. Green, white, checkered flag in the air for the first time today. Lane Riggs, stage 1 winner in San Diego. Caden Honeycutt second, Jimmy Johnson third, Chandler Smith fourth, and Grant Enfinger will round out the top 5 and 5th for stage number 1. Tyler Ankrum 6th, Ben Rhodes 7th, Andres Perez 8th, Landon Lewis 9th, Tyler Reif round out the top 10. One point per position for the top 10 in stages 1 and 2. 10 points for first, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. I did get the chat poll in there. It was after the race began, so I'll give you until pretty late in this race to vote for who you think is going to win. Lane Riggs and Jimmy Johnson tied for the lead in our chat poll with only 10 votes so far, taking 40%. Caden Honeycutt does not have a vote yet, despite starting on pole and finishing second in stage 1. And somebody other than those 3 at 20%. North Island Coronado, best duty I have ever pulled for sure. Honeycutt Riggs quicker than any Cup or O'Reilly cars in practice. Yeah, he's fast. He's fast this weekend. I will say, throughout the course of the race, lap times are going to get faster. We have not seen the fastest lap. I don't think that lap 7 lap by Riggs, which was a 2 minute, 16.135 second lap time, is going to hold. I think he's going to continue to best that. I mean, that first green flag run, he was at 2 minutes 17, and even Honeycutt in second now is at a 2:17 flat nearly. So the entire field's pace is just going to get faster and faster with more laps ran. It's just such a new course. These drivers are learning every single lap where they need to hit their marks, shift, brake, accelerate, all the racing intricacies to make a fast lap around this track, and it takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, but these drivers are having one day to try to figure this out. So, very, very difficult task.
Commanding officer, there he is with his beautiful family, promoted to captain by his own father. Relieved Captain Montero of his duty as commanding officer in 2025. And I'm told I'm to call you by your call name, Wookie. Where did Wookie come from?
That's right. So, so aviators, right? Call signs are real.
Yes.
It's usually something silly that you do, or maybe something you don't like about yourself. So,
Knock you down a couple notches or
that's
something?
right. So
That's
maybe we'll
fun.
get together in the iBar sometime, and I'll tell you about my call sign.
We've heard about this place. It's so great to have you here. And I understand you oversee everything. So first off, when did this all come about? How did this come about, NASCAR being here?
Yeah, so it was 2 years ago when NASCAR approached the Navy and they said, hey, we want to partner with you in order to celebrate the Navy's 250th birthday. You can tell that story in a new and exciting way. So a lot of work kind of went into that, because one thing we said up front was we weren't going to impact military readiness, right? So we have to, make sure all these plans, don't impact our ability to deploy, right? And do that combat mission that the Navy does every day. So it took us about 2 years to get there, and man, we're excited to be here.
So many logistics, right?
What has this been like for the sailors? Because since I have drove onto the island and came to the racetrack today, the enthusiasm is through the roof. What has it been like for your sailors to have NASCAR here on the base?
Oh yeah, they're really, really excited, and there's been a lot of build-up. So I think there were a lot of questions, right? How are we going to be able to integrate this, and traffic and getting to our jobs, and how is the this track runs right to the base? I think there was a little bit of trepidation, right, at first. Those historic double dome hangars that we see out there, near and dear to my heart. I was the commanding officer of 2 of those squadrons there, and those sailors have to work in those hangars, and so it was a lot of work to get there. But then as I saw it really coming through and coming to fruition, tons of excitement as I see this race course, really emerge and where they work.
Wookie, we're going to ask you to stay here for another segment. Pit road is open there. Let's head to Josh now.
I'll start with the stage 1 winner, Lane Riggs. Told him the only place he's really getting right now is in turn 5. Let him know what they need. 34, Cameron.
Well, Josh, taking a look at the 45 of Landon Lewis, just checked in with the team. The crew chief, Phil Gould, just telling me he's lacking a little forward drive. They're going to go ahead and make an air pressure adjustment for him. Lots of adjustments all around. New tires filled up with fuel. We're ready to go for stage number 2. You see Honeycutt stayed out, Lane Riggs on top. So the captain will stay with us for one more segment, so we will step aside. We have so many questions, so we'll certainly dive into how all of this came to be at Naval Base Coronado. An exciting day for our military and NASCAR.
All right. Lane Riggs, stage 1 winner here today in San Diego for the Craftsman Truck Series race. 13 laps complete out of 50 this evening. 1 caution in stage 1 that lasted for 2 caution laps, and now our second yellow, the lap 12 stage break. We have to wait for the drivers to get all the way around this long course to the start-finish line before our leaderboard will update. So the running order that you see right now is not the actual running order. It was just the order in which they were in on pit road last time the race leader got to the start-finish line. All the emotional votes for Jimmy. Yes, that is very much so. But he is in third. He's been running top 3, so he's very much in it. I could see a situation where Riggs and Honeycutt take each other out on a restart late in the race, and Jimmy Johnson's right there for the taking. I mean, it could happen. It almost happened on lap 1. Couple of close calls with Lane Riggs pushing the issue. Aggressively looking to make that pass on Honeycutt, and eventually on lap 3, he was able to do so. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to try to study the track map a little bit more, so when we get into the later streams this weekend, I can actually commentate the race a little bit more effectively. I can tell you what's going on, but it's hard for me to tell exactly where they're at on the racetrack. With this being a new course, and I want to make sure I'm getting all that correct, so that way we get into a situation where something happens in turn 7, for instance. Random corner on the racetrack out of the 16, but I know exactly where that is and what that looks like. Did myself a little bit of a disservice by not being fully prepared for tonight's stream.
Right there, just incredible. The USS Carl Vinson, the backdrop of our racetrack here for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And we continue here with the captain and Wookie. This is so much fun to have you. So I know Michael has another question for you about how all this came to be.
I've just loved this racetrack. Kevin and I were joking about the jumps and the hops and the twists and the turns. Pop up on the ground. What all went into building this racetrack?
Yeah, so it was great, actually, partnership between NASCAR and the Amphibious Construction Battalion. So we have CBs on the base. So these are kind of our construction experts within the Navy. And the Amphibious Construction Battalion came to me and said, "Hey, we'd like to help because this is going to help our young sailors, right, to gain experience. And our supervisors, they're going to get experience too." So they volunteered to kind of help and construct the track. And it's been really great to see the experts from NASCAR working right alongside these construction experts, from the Navy. Really great to see. And lots of fun.
What's it been like today, just hearing those engines roar to life for the first time and just seeing all the sailors and their families out here? What's been the reaction?
It's been a little bit overwhelming for me. It's a place that I just have such a strong connection with. I've flown out of here. I've worked out of here for so long, and I live on Naval Base Coronado as well. So really a little bit overwhelming for me, and then just that opportunity to tell the story about the Navy's 250th birthday is amazing.
Bring us to the green, Captain. This is us going back racing.
All right.
Caden Honeycutt, Jimmy Johnson on the front row, restarts. And it is stage number 2 underway. Captain Jacoby, Wookie, thank you so much for all that you've done to make this possible. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. I don't know if we're coming back, but I sure hope we do.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Look at this. 3 wide, guys.
We knew that was coming, Jamie. And Kevin, all day long, these restarts, there's going to get more and more intense. These guys understanding how important track position is and trying to grab it while they're all stacked up together on the restarts. Look at that. 4 wide, baby.
Well, it's definitely the time that you can take advantage of somebody making a mistake, a lane getting checked up. And like you said, Mike, this is not going to get less aggressive as we go throughout the day.
So the top 15 stayed out there. The top 5 have yet to pit today. Caden Honeycutt, back up front leading. Amanda.
Yeah, Jamie, we were ready to call that pit stop for Caden Honeycutt, and Scott Zipadelli with the last-minute call kept him out there. What was the leading reason for that decision, Scott?
We've got a few different strategies to play out here. The safe left-hand curve really good. We quite couldn't run with the 34 right there. We've got to make a couple adjustments. Maybe we can get them, but we're not going to beat them doing the same thing. And I feel like it's safer to do our own race and see where we end up. So hopefully the play.
Actually, where are you on fuel?
I don't really want to tell you, but we'll be pitting here in probably another 10 laps.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Amanda. What do you guys think of that strategy there?
I love it. Look, if you don't think you can beat them head to head, you want to try to put yourself in a position where you can put them in the middle of the pack and trying to put them in a bad spot to get their truck torn up or whatever the case is. And when you have the track position, you're in a spot where you're in less trouble. Because of the traffic and all the things that are happening around you. But I think when you run those caution laps, I mean, we really only got to run 9 laps right here, right? By the time the caution laps were over, so it's not a long ways outside of their fuel window from flipping that last stage to have the track position when you start that third stage.
The 17th runner is really fast. He's on a differing strategy. He was able to pit early under that caution. He has fresher tires, and he's the first truck with those fresher tires, and he is rolling.
7 truck Connor Mozak is around.
Yeah, he's either gotten into the wall or there's another truck with damage.
Oh,
A lot of damage. Yeah, we saw them both have damage this morning in practice. Look at this battle, guys.
Jimmy Johnson going for the lead.
Leaning all over Caden Honeycutt.
Love to see it.
huge. Pace that Jimmy has racing for the lead. This is so fun.
And we saw Kate Honeycutt. Well, we thought Wayne Riggs was just pulling away. That could have been Honeycutt starting to lose that pace. We saw those tires that Amanda showed us earlier that had that tire wear on pit road. But we thought it could have been from a lockup, but there is going to be some tire wear and some of these trucks that fall off as those forks start to show on the tires if that's the case.
Well, the top 4 have yet to pit today. Of course, Honeycutt, Smith, Hemrick, and Gralla.
Lane Riggs up to 10 on his strategy. Johnson looking up at Kate Honeycutt leading the race.
This whole strategy is pretty fascinating, Mike. Again, going back to Scott Zipadelli's call right there to lead Caden on the racetrack, that shows you that they know that 34 truck has them on pace, and I think that this strategy works out for them, and everybody winds up pitting here at the end of this stage to make sure. I mean, we know they're going to have to pit in stage 3, so this is a brilliant strategy if it plays out the way that I think it's going to.
Well, we talked about maybe running 10 more laps as you see the damaged truck of Mozak on pit road. The team looking it over, I think they're deciding there's a lot of damage to that left front. And the damage comes after the spin, goes around there and was just outside of the groove. And right there, someone came through and clipped him.
Whoa, looks like Klingerman might have gotten into the back of that 7 truck and turned him around right there.
Timing and scoring is having a bit of an issue. So it's Honeycutt obviously out front, Jimmy Johnson just behind him. And another battle now. Jimmy Johnson has yet to pick. Oh, a big lockup by Caden Honeycutt. Jimmy Johnson, new leader in Coronado.
Talk about those tires, Kevin, and that's not good for them. They're slipping and flying them there. If they've got some wear on them, they put it into the cords.
He's definitely got some wear on there now with those front tires that locked up as he got off in the corner. But as you know, when these tires start to wear, not only does it lose traction up off the corner, but it also starts to lose that braking capability when those tires start to have less grip in the front. But both those front tires locked up on that truck as he went off into the corner.
Are you believing this? I mean, we've talked about how spectacular this event is and how happy we are to be here. And now 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson is leading the race.
You could call this his home track. Grew up 19 miles away from here in El Cajon, driving off-road trucks, racing dirt bikes. He did it all. Found his way to NASCAR after that, but how special to come back to his local region. As soon as they announced this, guys, he went to work and made this deal happen with Triton Garage. Look at that. 19 miles to be exact. And now here he is, 50 years old, a 7-time Cup champion, and he's leading in his second ever Truck Series race.
Well, he's going to learn really quickly that I know he's been driving the Cup car some and helping everybody at Legacy trying to get everything sorted out to be where they want to be from the competition side. He's going to learn really quickly. Truck racing is pretty fun, and being able to be competitive in this Tricom truck up in the front of this field is something that is he's going to remember, and he's going to say, hey, you know, that truck race was pretty fun. Let's go do another one somewhere.
I hope he does, because this is just amazing. This Hall of Fame legend racing the trucks and getting the lead here.
Last time Jimmy Johnson led was at Phoenix in a cup car in 2020 when he retired. What a moment.
Honeycutt's hanging on back there, Kevin, in third.
Halfway through stage number 2. Airtime, and this was the moment. Jimmy Johnson makes the pass after Honeycutt locks him up. Johnson out front.
Honeycutt not only fell out of the lead, but actually ended up falling all the way back to about 4th place before he settled in. Chandler Smith was able to get by him, and I believe Daniel Hemrick was also able to make a pass. We'll go through the full field running order. Jimmy Johnson leads Naval Base Coronado. How about that? Chandler Smith in second. Caden Honeycutt is in third place, and then fourth is Daniel Hemrick. Fifth place is Ty Majeski. Sixth for Parker Kligerman. Gio Ruggiero in seventh. Lane Riggs eighth. Kaz Grella ninth. Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 10. Stuart Friesen in 11. Justin Haley 12. Tyler Ankrum 13. Landon Lewis 14. Tanner Gray 15. 16th for Andres Perez. Christian Eckes in 17th. 18th is Adam Andretti. Tyler Reif 19th, and Cole Butcher rounds out the top 20. 21st for Chris Wright with Nathan Nicholson 22nd, Dawson Sutton 23rd, Justin Marks 24th, and Minnie Tyrell 25th. Jake Garcia in 26th, Brennan Queen 27th, Jackson Lee 28th, Ben Rhodes 29th, Frankie Muniz in 30th, 31st for Austin Varco, Brendan Gaughan in 32nd, 33rd, Jamie McMurray, Connor Mosak 34th, Corey LaJoy 35th, and that rounds out our full 35 truck field. Stage 1 winner was Lane Riggs. 2 cautions, 1 for incident on lap 4 in the opening stage, and then the lap 12 stage and lap 24 will be the end of stage 2. We are currently working lap 18 this time by. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live. San Diego Street Race NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on KRC. Michael Hill, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Corey Heim not in the race tonight. Be really cool if your uncle was there. Served 27 years in the Navy. Well, thank you for his service. And thanks to anybody else watching out there that has also served in the United States military. I saw AJF talking about some of his story earlier in the chat. It really is a good event this weekend. From the spectacle in and of itself, set the race quality aside, it's a cool, unique experience for NASCAR this weekend. We've had a street race before, but this is one of a kind. Johnson was able to take the race lead away. Chandler Smith has now ran him down, almost as if Jimmy might have used up his tires a little early in the run. Smith has come from a couple seconds back to run down Johnson. Caden Honeycutt not able to keep up with these 2 trucks ahead of him after he had smoked the tires and lost the lead a couple laps ago. Be down to 5 laps to go in stage 2. This time by at the start-finish line. I don't think it's going to be very long before Chandler Smith is able to make a pass on Johnson. I don't think Jimmy's going to be too aggressive trying to hold him back. Corey LaJoy out of the race.
Flip the stage there. I'm not sure why, but we got back in the Hornet's nest, and you're just trying to feel asphalt, even if it's the right move or the wrong move. And I rolled in kind of driver's left through the chain there, and somebody was stopped. And I was first. First I knew about it was when I was looking right in Connor Mosak's eyes. So too little, too late. Yeah, we just can't get a break with this smoke bar ram. But we've been the backside of the top 10 for every week for the last 4 or 5 races, and something's happened. So it's unfortunate, but we're making steps in the right direction. This track's incredible. The naval base is incredible. Hey, it's hard. Hey, it's early, but still going to be a fantastic weekend here. Great Sunday.
Thanks. That's the day for Fourth of July, Jamie.
Jimmy Johnson on pit road from the race lead.
Send on pit road for the first time. Get service, 4 tires, filled it up with fuel.
Jimmy did perfect there too, Kevin. You saw him stop right in his box. That's a big part. That gets the whole pit stop started. You got to do your job as a driver. We talked about hitting backwards, if you will, coming in from the other direction. He did his job, and the team jumped over and had a great pit stop.
So that turns the lead over to Chandler Smith for the first time today. Caden Honeycutt just behind him. Both of those drivers have yet to pit. And you see Justin Marks, the backup truck here, and a lot of damage, guys.
Yeah, that one is done for the day. See what happened right here. Same thing that we've seen all day.
Turn 16. Off that corner. It seems like if you lose a little bit of traction and get high, it just skates right out into the wall.
Yeah, and you know that damage on the splitter on the left front right there was already there. That splitter was bent and damaged as he got into 16, and then as he exited 16, kind of finished it off there. So there was already some damage to the splitter, but definitely ended the day by the exit of that corner on turn 16 and hit the fence. Justin's going to be on the opposite end of the spectrum of Jimmy Johnson. he's had a rough day today with the 2 wrecks and finishing that one off today.
Yeah,
Lane
2 Cup Series owners racing in the Truck Series.
put Lane Riggs into the top 5 with that move around Majeski and that bright yellow number 88.
Lane Riggs has the newest tires. Pitted on lap 13. You mentioned he's up to 4th.
Parker Kligerman uses his strategy, raced his way just ahead of Lane there. And number 70 in that truck.
One thing that's really changed for these guys from practice to where they're at right now is we see Chandler Smith off pit road.
Josh Chandler is coming your way.
Yeah, for Chandler Smith, this is his first stop of the day. He said he's struggling with rear grip, especially in the concrete section, but still feels like the truck is really long run. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 38.
Yeah, Josh will mark it as 19 laps completed for Caden Honeycutt to come into for his first pit stop. Call Scott Finelli make that impressive call, but he said that he needed lateral grips. We'll let it get paper.
Out the stop there on the 11, and here comes Gio Ruggiero in the 17 truck to get his service.
See them plug him in. He's filling up with Sunoco race fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol. These guys are going to be happy to get those fresh tires, especially Caden Honeycutt.
That's his second trip to pit road. We saw him early in the race on lap 4 or 5 come to pit road and make an adjustment. They knew they did a lot of work on that truck.
Yeah, and I think for Honeycutt and the guys that stayed out there, Jimmy Johnson, Chandler Smith, all those guys that stayed out on those old tires, they really got a sense of what a long run was going to be like, and then take it a little bit further. So that's what you're going to have to do in this last stage. I mean, you're going to have to run, 16, 17 laps as you make that final charge in stage 3.
Lane Riggs on the inside of Parker Kligerman. Tom Majeski in the 88 looking on.
Lane Riggs trying to pick up that extra spot. He does it. Ty Majeski is on the move, getting a little impatient on the bumper. Parker Kligerman.
Yeah, we know Parker always does a great job at pretty much anything that he jumps in. He's not full time in anything, but every time he gets behind the seat, this 75 truck has always been good throughout the years, sporadically as they show up to the races. But he's been pretty regular in this 75 truck, and what great experience for his broadcast as he goes through the rest of the weekend to be able to have the track time. It's just such a unique racetrack, and to be able to explain the bumps and the cracks and the braking zones and where the difficult spots are. There's a lot of it that stick out to us pretty obviously, but there's nothing better than being behind the wheel and being able to relate that to the fans at home.
Yeah, I talked to Parker yesterday, and he was like, I don't have a backup truck, so you'll see me taking it easy, but we feel like when we get in the race, we're going to be committed. And one of the crew guys said, this is the truck we won a road course race, I think in Mid-Ohio back a few years ago. And I said, what year was that? The crew guy said, I don't know, it's been a long time, but that's the same very truck with a new body on it. So great job by that team to bring a fast truck again. Stat. guy Joe says it was 2022 when he went to Victory Lane. So that's a 4-year-old truck. Probably not many more out there any older than that, huh, Kevin?
Well, that's one thing about the truck series. A lot of the rules hadn't changed, but I would say in the portion of the field he's racing in, you're probably right.
Yes.
So 3 laps to go here in stage number 2. Lane Briggs, second fastest that last lap. It was Grant Enfinger who turned the fastest lap back and forth.
He's been impressive, hasn't he?
Really, it's been
a good day for that 9 team.
I mean, you hear from him, and it's like, don't root for me, don't count on me, I'm not sure what I'm doing. And he's been running top 5 solid.
Yeah, I mean, he would have made it sound like that he didn't really want to be out there this morning with his interview because of how uncomfortable he felt. And you see the results and the position that he's running off the racetrack right now. Definitely wouldn't show it. So I think Grant is one of those old cagey veterans that is like, yeah, no, I want to set the expectations too high, but I want to go out there and overachieve on what I'm doing.
Well, Kevin, you had a great point earlier. I mean, he is a veteran, 234 starts in this series. This is the second time ever that we've raced on a street course in this series. This isn't something that's natural or because you have a lot of experience that it shines through. This is something that these drivers have all really had to adapt to.
Well, they've done a great job. And when we went to St. Pete earlier in the year, we didn't really know how it was going to go. Qualifying got rained out. They started pretty green and were able to put on a great race. And I think as you look at the race today, this has gone way better than practice with what we've been able to do. But street course racing is no joke. When you make a mistake like we saw so many times in practice today, this thing will reach out and bite you.
Lane Riggs coming down pit road. Josh.
Well, Lane Riggs, who won stage 1, elects a short pit stage 2, so he needs more lateral grip in the truck. Still, it'll be no adjustments for them, just 4 tires and fuel.
See a lot of trouble on that left rear tire right there, Michael. That's going to be a pretty slow pit stop.
And pitting reverse like this, a lot of times it's just that timing gets off just a little bit. That muscle memory is challenged.
And well, I think that situation right there, the truck just the tire got caught in the left rear fender well right there, and it couldn't get the tire. It looked like the jack might not have been quite high enough to just get that tire straight off.
When you got the speed that he has, just a little mistake like that is definitely a setback. You don't want to give up anything, but certainly he can overcome that.
So Parker Kligerman, the 75, out front for the second time today. Ty Majeski just behind him. Ty Majeski, on the other hand, he was pretty optimistic this morning about what they had in the setup.
He was fast at St. Pete.
Finished second, Michael.
Ran right up front all day long, really fast. Loves road racing, student of the game, as all these guys are, especially over the last couple of weeks. Right? They have been studying some laps, taking some laps on sim. Really working hard to be ready for this day.
I'm just impressed that the axles are still in that 88. After that moment that he had earlier in the race with that wheel hop, and for those axles not to be broken, pretty impressive. But he got a little bit lucky right there and didn't run into anything and able to keep that truck going straight and doing a good job.
That was probably one of the coolest saves I've ever seen because he was out of control for a long time and was able to keep it off of other trucks and keep it going in the right direction.
You know, for people maybe watching casually and they don't know, like when we come to a brand new place like this, how do these guys prepare? Kevin, I know you spent a little time on iRacing, which was incredible, by the way. We were able to get an idea what this whole track layout was like. But what are these guys doing? What do they gain from that? And how similar is it to the real thing?
Well, most likely they've been prepping for this race for a few weeks now to be able to start to get the visuals down, to be able to memorize this racetrack. And, as you got closer to race week, then you would get in the simulator and start working on your setup stuff. Cruise around.
Oh, Jamie McMurray.
Jamie McMurray has pounded the wall somewhere around this racetrack. Somewhere in a right-handed turn. He has hit hard with the right front and or nose. And he's trying to limp his way all the way back around to the pits. But I would imagine this is going to bring out a caution. I'm shocked he hasn't left behind any debris because that truck is totaled. He's going to drive off to an area of the racetrack where there is a little bit of an excess road to get away from oncoming traffic and out of the traditional racing line. It was right up out of turn 16 again, where we saw Justin Marks hit hard just a few laps ago. Jamie McMurray. Same thing, got up too wide. Car kind of gets stuck in the marbles, and away it goes. Doesn't take much to damage the trucks at that angle, especially with these walls being concrete and no safer barrier on the street course as well. It's a pretty hard lick. Turn 16 was Calamity Corner in practice in the Truck Series earlier today, and now it's well right here. Final lap, stage 2, battle for the stage win between Ty Majeski and part-time driver Parker Kligerman. Kligerman out in front with Majeski trying to chase him down. Majeski, of course, full-time in the series. Looking to salvage any point he can get. And if you're wondering who may be the leader when we get into stage 3, Caden Honeycutt actually leads Jimmy Johnson. And ahead of both of those trucks is Chandler Smith. Smith is in the 7th place position at the moment. Honeycutt 9th and Jimmy Johnson 10th of the front runners, who have already pitted before the end of stage 2. Lane Riggs will be the 4th truck in line behind Johnson. Already kind of cut, sliced, and diced his way through the field. A slow pit stop, not only on the green flag stop for Riggs, but under the caution. Put himself behind. Majeski giving a run for Parker Kligerman's money. But Kligerman is going to be the one to win stage 2. Majeski looked faster down the stretch there. He just couldn't find a way to make a pass around this racetrack. Parker Kligerman, the stage 2 winner here in San Diego by about a margin of 0.2 of a second over Majeski, who brings it home in second. Grant Enfinger third. Tyler Ankrum fourth, and Andres Perez rounds out the top 5 at 5th. Tyler Reif in 6th, Chandler Smith 7th, Caden Honeycutt 8th, Jimmy Johnson 9th, and Christian Eckes rounds out the top 10. Again, 1 point per position. As of those stage 2 results inside the top 10. Laverne Angel, thanks for tuning in. No problem, by the way. I haven't shouted you out. I greatly appreciate you all tuning in here on this Friday night. Live commentary coverage of the Navy 250 for the Craftsman Truck Series. Naval Base Coronado. For the first ever San Diego street race. And the first ever street race of that on a naval base in NASCAR. Second for the Truck Series season. Lane Riggs, the driver to beat on speed, but gets put behind with some strategy. He will not be the leader when we begin things in stage 3, but being still up in those front couple of rows, if he survives the restart, I still think he's the one to beat with this many laps left. Got about half the race remaining yet. 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 6 seconds into the event through 2 stages out of 3, 24 laps out of 50 complete. The laps time-wise, there's still a decent amount of this thing yet to go. Not as wild as I expected. It's early. We're only halfway done, Kyle. And we still got 2 more races here this weekend, too. Knowing this could be the final restart of the day as we begin stage 3. ever growing restart from here on out, knowing that we are in the final stage and anyone could be the last. The opportunity to jump multiple positions, one lap, just a couple corners at a time, even. Been stuck not being able to pass vehicles all day long. It's an opportunity there, and everybody's going to try to make the most of it.
We see it in real life. The turns are definitely a little tight. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage that, but I think everything's going to go great. 250 years of America and the Navy. It's a great way for us to celebrate our nation, what we do, and how we live. I think it'll be one for the history books.
These sailors are just loving every minute of showing off their base and what they're capable of. Well, fun added too. We had a sailors showdown. It was just a few hours ago. We had the sailors team up with some pit crews. There were 4 teams, 2 sailors, which were the tire changers. For 3 of the 4 teams, the 4th team comprised of Wounded Warrior unit. The sailors you see there changing the tires. And yesterday, everyone who participated had to go through a 3-hour training session. See there, it's not so easy.
The athleticism of these guys that hop over the wall and change the tires and fill it up, it's just amazing. We see it week in and week out, but they do crazy things. And when you have these sailors that are fit and tough as well, get out there and try to do it, they have a new respect for our crew guys.
That's what it's all about right there. The sailors and their families taking in NASCAR on Naval Base Coronado. We'll be back with the 3rd and final stage.
Pit road hasn't even opened yet. The leaders have not gotten back to, well, I should say they did get back to the pace car, but then that following time around for pit road to open, that has not happened yet. So it should be open this time by for those who have not yet hit pit road before the end of stage number 2. And again, Parker Kligerman, your stage 2 winner. We'll take a quick break here. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag to flag coverage of tonight's race continues. Not convinced this will be the last start. No, I don't think so. Just by way of how much of the length of the race that we have left. I mean, if we have about an hour of racing, if it stayed green the rest of the way, that's a long time. More than a full fuel run. I don't think you're going to see as many pit stops during the stage break, knowing that you cannot make it on fuel to the end from here. It's more just don't have enough fuel left in the car to maybe make it to that final fuel run from this point, which would be the opportunity under caution where you'd see a lot of these drivers pit. So you're not going to give up as much interval time versus if you were to pit under green. So take the caution flag pit stop if necessary. If it is there for the taking. Live commentary streams tomorrow will pick back up again right here on the channel at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be live, and that will be NASCAR Cup Series qualifying. At 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. And then the following day, on Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, NASCAR Cup Series, San Diego Street Race, Naval Base Coronado. Live commentary coverage continues all weekend long. Hopefully my mic works going forward with the rest of the weekend. I'm hoping all I have to do is reboot OBS and or just restart my laptop. And just something of a small fix like that I just couldn't do during the course of the stream. Been a long day for me. Sleep in a bit. I'm glad that this race isn't going nearly as long as the truck race at Nashville a few weeks ago. I'm thankful that there is no inclement weather in San Diego for tonight. That was rough. I was nearly falling asleep on stream. Not only because it was a late night, but just because I was up from 2:30 a.m. that morning. So it's about the time I have to get up for work every morning. Shouldn't say every morning, just on my work days. Friday being one of those days, unfortunately.
It's going to be a real battle of attrition with the race car as well, as rough as the racetrack is.
Check out the all-new Fox Sports digital show Speed with Harvick and Buxton, fueled by Poet. Subscribe to Speed on Fox on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Kevin, you always have good opinions. I think you knew what you were talking about there. It's lived up to everything.
Well, I'm glad you like opinions, Jamie. Not everybody likes my opinion, but I'm fine with it too. But it's
moments.
it's
Keep it spicy.
it's always been one of those things where I see it, I say it, and we move on, right? Like, and it just becomes I might not be right, but
Or you might be.
I might be.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance
You've
most of the
got
time.
a lot of experience, a lot of success in this sport. I think people have to respect what you say, whether
Yeah.
they like it or not.
Well, and look, when we were talking about this course and in the simulator and seeing all the things that were going with this course, everybody knew it was going to be rough. They knew that the racing surface was going to be challenging, and I think they've done a great job. Our truckers have done a great job from practice to the race of being able to adjust, and so far they've put on a great show. Now they might all lose their minds as we get into stage 3 right here, but so far it's been a great show.
This is interesting. With the repairs to the pit wall there, we're staying out before opening the pits, and means we're going to shorten the laps we have to run to get to the checker. We talked about 17, 18 laps. If you run enough caution flags, those laps, you can get more laps out of a tank of fuel. If you pit here, some guys might can make it.
It'll be close.
It will be.
Yeah, 24 to go, and I think that I mean they're look. Somebody's going to gamble. We saw that last week with Christopher Bell in the Cup race. Somebody's going to gamble if it's even in the conversation remotely possible.
Well, guys, when we were waiting for our show to start, we watched USA win their second straight World Cup match, and we have plenty more coming up tomorrow. The FIFA World Cup rolls on as the Netherlands take on Sweden at 1 Eastern with massive group points on the line. Then at 4 Eastern, Germany looks to stay hot, while Ivory Coast eyes another upset. That's all on Fox. And a cool event yesterday. SVG right there got to meet his New Zealand national team. The soccer team was right here in San Diego, got to shake hands. You see him signing some autographs. What a cool moment for him.
Always great when you can kind of have the crossover between two sports, and NASCAR, and we know that Shane is a great race car driver, but when you can tie in the soccer team and the NASCAR driver and put all that together, it grows both sports, and that's what I love about the fact that we have guys from different countries. Shane has been such a great addition to the Cup Series and has just a massive following.
Well, and you see him kick that ball into the state.
Not a soccer ball. He kicks.
He's got skills.
What a soccer
Not
ball.
call that a soccer ball. Well, yeah, I've been down that road.
Rugby. All right, so
I just said ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
he booted it.
Well,
I
it's
get what
World
you're
Cup.
saying. Yeah. So Jackson Lee is in the 2, having a decent run here back in 20th. Let's get an update, Amanda.
Yeah, and welcome back to Jackson Lee to the Truck Series. It's his 3rd race with us this season, all flat road courses. His father is our IndyCar on Fox colleague, Kevin Lee, who is at Road America this weekend, but the whole family is here. Jackson Lee is an instructor for Skip Barber Racing School, and he told me that this place is just absolutely wild. He said if he was talking to his students that this place would be St. Pete on steroids. But before the race started, Jackson told me that he was going to fall back into this race and let the race come to him. As I said, his entire family here, and they said that we may be beating Kevin Lee over in Road America with our views here in San Diego.
Yes, nice young man. This is all new to him. And, you know, when you're a young guy like him, you don't get to go test. You don't get to learn all these things. He races all kinds of sports cars and races all over the country, but this is new to him. Just his third start, doing a nice job today. So pit road will be open next time. See stage points so far. Grant Enfinger. I did not have that on my bingo card. Maximizing today, 14 points earned.
Well, remember, we're racing for a spot in the chase, and these guys need those stage points when they're having a season that isn't quite what they expected. Right there on the cusp of the bubble.
Yeah, bumped him from 12th to 9th in the points. So
having a great day. Got a lot of them coming your way. Amanda.
Yeah, Jamie, that's exactly what Grant Enfinger wanted to do today, was find those points. He also said that his other strategy was not take myself out of this race. At the beginning of the day, Grant Enfinger said he had one of the worst trucks that he's ever had, but it had a lot of pace in it. I just talked to his crew chief, Derek Smith, who said the truck is so good right now with the big swings that we've been making today. Minimal adjustments for Grant Enfinger. A little sideways there in that box, Caitlin.
Going to talk about time adjustable slow on the right front.
Weird angle into his pit. The crew overcame that. Did a nice job.
Riggs team getting it done. Gio Ruggiero as well. Great job on pit road. Just 23 laps to go here from Nathan Bayes Coronado. Stay with us. How is this going to shake out?
Into the final stage of today's race. We're down to about 23 laps to go. This time by, as we're under caution for the stage 2 end and some repair work to the wall in turn 16 after Jamie McMurray had made significant contact in the final lap or two of stage 2 in that area. Repair work was done to the wall before pit road was opened. And as the trucks just pitted that last time by, there's a very good probability we'll be going green this time. Hour and 22 minutes into today's race. One caution for incident still all the way back on lap 4, working lap 27 right now. Varying pit strategies, but what we do know is that fuel is going to be tight to the end of the race for those who pit during the stage caution. For those who pitted before the end of the stage, they're going to be a lot tighter on gas. Lab Crying Face, thanks for tuning in. Austin Sullivan. Jimmy Johnson needs to say F it and run a full truck season. You know, why not? He'd be competitive. Look at him. He's out here leading laps tonight. Tim Brown, thanks for tuning in. Where's the truck diecast? It is the end of stage 2. That means it is time for a diecast showing. That is correct. Let me get the diecast out. Good call, Tim. Just showing off some random diecasts for this weekend. Obviously, there's no, I guess, usually I try to get like drivers who have won at that specific racetrack and try to time it out well with it. Obviously, with us never racing in San Diego before on a street course layout, I just have random diecasts for this weekend. This is a number 99 Sitco Ford Taurus from, I believe, 2000? Yeah, 2000. As the hood almost broke on me. That was a close one. Was not expecting that to pop open, but a Sitco number 99 Jeff Burton diecast. Actually, I have a few Jeff Burton diecasts. This one, very underrated scheme. This was one of my favorites, honestly, growing up. I thought the Sitco schemes were pretty solid. His XI battery scheme was also pretty good. We know him in the singular wireless paint schemes there, but RCR had some good ones. And Jeff Burton's had some underrated paint schemes in the NASCAR Cup Series. This one, figured I'd show it off here tonight. It was the first one I saw when I went to grab a diecast I haven't showed off this year. So that's our diecast showing for this evening. Here's an interview with Jamie McMurray, who is now out of the race.
The 77 go, I think it was Justin Mark go.
when I did, I just kind of lost my eyesight, and I don't really feel like I missed the corner that much. It was more just the angle of my truck when I hit it, and I'm telling you, it's like a jump when you hit that, and you kind of know in the moment that this is not going to be good. So it's frustrating. We had a brake issue early on. A bleeder or something came loose, so it stinks. I really wanted to be able to to run all day, and with just a lap to go right in the stage, but yeah, frustrating.
Frustrating day, but good to have you back in the truck, Jamie. Jamie?
Thank you, Josh. So,
All right, headed for the restart here as we begin stage 3. Green flag is back in the air in Naval Base Coronado. And a side-by-side battle down to turn 1 with 22 laps to go between Caden Honeycutt and Chandler Smith, nearly making contact up out of turn 1. In fact, I believe they did make contact. Honeycutt nearly getting squeezed into the wall, but has the advantage on the inside of turn 2 and will clear Chandler Smith. Vinny Tyrell, Justin Haley, couple Dodge Rams up inside the top 10 on the restart. For those that had stayed out of the pits, Lane Riggs back in the 9th place position, trying to work his way through traffic. I still think he's close enough to the front of the field. He gets out of the first lap or two with no major damage on this restart. He has plenty of time to get to the lead. He won stage 1 by about 6 seconds. And that was only in about a 7-lap green flag run to the end of the stage after a caution middle of stage 1. He's got a very fast race truck. And here he is going for a spot. And he's got double wide traffic right in front of him as well, so it's going to be tough to kind of make multiple passes here over the course of this lap until things get singled out. He gets by Adam Andretti in the 5. Then the 14 of Vinny Tyrell. And now he'll be working on Justin Haley next. Gets by all those drivers. That'll move Lane Riggs up into the top 5 and 5th. After restarting at 9th, so already 4 positions gained in the first lap. With how long this course is, he has plenty of time at just over 5 seconds out of the lead. Next thing you gotta wonder, though, if he does chase down the leaders quick enough into the run, is he going to use his tires up? We saw some cording after about 10 green flag laps in the opening stage. Don't want to push too hard too early. And when will we see those final pit stops of the day? Is another question. I imagine splitting this final stage in half is going to be the way to go. Maybe 11 and 11. Trying to take advantage of fresh tires just before that. Honeycutt has led for 9 laps today, only one shy of Lane Riggs for the most laps led in today's race. They actually had 11 lead changes, most of those on strategy base. Couple passes for the lead. Jimmy Johnson getting by Caden Honeycutt after he overcooked the corner. Lane Riggs getting by Honeycutt on lap 3 for the lead as well. Chandler Smith was putting a lot of pressure on Johnson before Johnson pitted under green in stage 2. Then Smith was able to get his lap led and hit the following lap. Johnson trying to run down both Chandler Smith and Caden Honeycutt in front of him. If they get to battling side by side for just a couple corners, could open the door up for him and allow him to close much quicker than what he's trying to at the moment. Hemrick with a surprising good run in 4th place right now. Hemrick started outside the top 30 in today's race. I believe 32nd on the grid is where he began. Yep, 32nd. Was 12th at the end of stage 1, 24th at the end of stage 2, but flips the field, and here he is in 4th place after staying out of the pits on this last restart. And we shall see if he's going to have enough fuel to make it on one more stop and see if he's got the speed to make it to the end as well. The chair's all squeaky. Sweatshirt keeps rubbing against it on the backside. Might sound like I'm ripping ass in the mic. That is not the case. Yeah, both the front row Motorsport Fords looking faster than that of Caden Honeycutt this evening. Chandler Smith's putting a lot of pressure on him, and Chandler had a good run after Jimmy Johnson back in stage 2 as well. Riggs a little bit more aggressive and is able to finesse his truck in spots where he's able to make passes. Chandler Smith has struggled to do so today. But Smith is going to barrel it down into turn 2, a little bit of a bluff. Oh, Honeycutt overcooks the corner again and slaps the wall on the outside of turn number 2. He caught the tire packed with the right rear and then slammed the right front into the concrete wall. Quite a bit of damage on that 11 truck, and Jimmy Johnson is now going to try to motor past him for second. Chandler Smith to the lead after a mistake by Honeycutt in the same corner that he lost the lead to Jimmy Johnson back in stage 2. Got up over that little hop. Lost the rear tire security and wide he went. The only difference is he kept it off the wall, getting the truck to slow down back in stage 2 when he lost the lead to Johnson. Unable to do the case here. And Jimmy to the inside. Honeycutt playing very, very tight defense, though. Not going to make this easy for Jimmy despite the struggle with the drivability of Honeycutt's truck. And he really pancaked the right side of that thing. I haven't noticed a tire rub as he's worked his way back around the race course. All tires seem to be up and no smoke coming out. Next question is, does Caden Honeycutt stay out of the pits this time by? He's holding Jimmy Johnson up for right now with Jimmy sitting stuck behind the slower 11. And Lane Riggs in the 34 is coming in strong as well. Another smoke into the front tires into the bus stop for Honeycutt as he continues to press, and now comes to pit road.
Way on to pit road. Pull that fender out, get some fresh tires.
Fill it up with gas. We got the poet strategy, and he's in a window I believe he can make it. This will be interesting to see how this team's able to rally from this mistake.
Yeah, and he really put them in a window where they had to pit, right? So it's right on the edge of that pit window if we run green from everything that we're hearing from the team. So it'll be interesting to see what they do when they get to the right side of this truck. But you see where that fender is split right there? It's actually pushed the fender up. I don't know that I'd spend a lot of time on that.
They filled him up with Sunoco race fuel, zero carbon bioethanol. Meanwhile, Lane Riggs picks up his spot, gets around Jimmy Johnson, moves into second.
Chandler Smith has driven away from these guys, Jamie.
He certainly has about 6.5 second lead right now over Lane Riggs. We're going to step aside, but you won't miss a thing as we go Fox side by side.
All right, side-by-side commercial break on Fox Sports 1. We're going to go through the full field running order of tonight's race with about 18 laps to go this time by. Our current race leader, Chandler Smith, out in front for the second time today. 3 laps led now for Smith. Jimmy Johnson just got passed for the second place position. Lane Riggs is up to second now. Our leaderboard hasn't updated yet because they've not finished the lap. But again, Riggs in second. Then Jimmy Johnson would be third. Daniel Hemrick fourth. Justin Haley rounding out the top 5 in fifth. One of his better runs of the season. Kaz Grala in sixth. Caden Honeycutt back in seventh when he was on pit road. He's going to be further behind that once he cycles through the running order. Ty Majeski in 8th place. Grant Enfinger 9th. And Gio Ruggiero rounding out the top 10. And now Ruggiero moving up to 9th. Honeycutt back in the leaderboard some. Landon Lewis in 10th place, having a strong run in that 45 for Nice Motorsports. He qualified 9th. He's been back half of the top 10 all day. Tyler Ankerman 11th. 12th place for Tyler Reif. 13th is Andres Perez. Brendan Queen 14th. Nathan Nicholson 15th. Ben Rhodes 16th. Tanner Gray 17th. Christian Eckes at 18th. Jake Garcia 19th. Dawson Sutton 20th. 21st Jackson Lee. Chris Wright 22nd. Cole Butcher 23rd. Austin Varco, 24th. Parker Kligerman in 25th. Caden Honeycutt, 26th. Frankie Muniz, 27th. Minnie Tyrell, 28th. Adam Andretti, 29th. Connor Mosack in 30th. Brendan Gaughan 31st, 32nd, Justin Marksdorf Friesen 33rd now, Jamie McMurray 34th, and Corey LaJoy round out the 35 truck field. Two Dodge Rams finishing out last and second to last in the running order. I believe it was Frankie Muniz who had a lot of damage that I saw moments ago on the small screen on FS1 with the side-by-side commercial going on. Caution flag is out, by the way, for the fourth time today, second for incident. And our first of stage 3 debris on the racetrack following, I believe, again, it was Frankie Muniz who had made pretty good contact with the wall. Yep, and it is Muniz. Back of that truck is all sorts of tore up. Dragging the deck lid as he works his way down pit lane. And so with about 16 laps to go, under caution again.
Was making leapfrogs. These guys putting on a show. Michael, we were walking the track yesterday, and these guys were out just having fun, kind of practicing for what they're doing today in the pre-show. They'd interlock each other's feet. Two of them were carrying the American flag, and they hit their marks despite the wind every time right there on the track.
It's a crazy, amazing show of skydiving and precision. So fun to watch.
And the anthem, the flyover, the command, everything has been about the sailors today.
And they're having a great time. And I love the fact that we are showing them off and showing off their facility, everything that they do for this country to keep us safe and let us come out and race these vehicles every single weekend. We just can't thank them enough for letting us be here, for what they do for our country to keep us safe.
It's incredible. We're here in one of the radio towers. It's our booth. And they told me normally aircraft is parked all around us, helicopters, fighter jets, you name it. Here, it's like the fan zone for all the fans and the sailors having fun. And then we have all three of the garages of NASCAR just completely converted this base.
There's a lot of strategy, a lot of thoughts going on about what's happening on pit road.
Let's listen.
Some guys, I think, will elect to stay out. I'm just curious. We hear the pit crews tell us somewhere between 16 18 laps they can make it, but we've up to 4 or 5 laps under caution. Maybe there's some of these teams that think they can stretch it. We know Chandler can't make it. He doesn't have near enough gas, nor does Jimmy Johnson. It's going to be fun to watch.
Under caution here for the fourth time for debris that came off of Frankie Muniz's truck. About that, or parasailing, you could do it all. It's 72 and perfect in San Diego.
All right, caution continues here in San Diego, Naval Base Coronado, for a street race. First of which at this facility. Craftsman Truck Series racing tonight. O'Reilly Auto Parts racing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live right here on the channel for that. We'll also be live for qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series tomorrow afternoon, so doubleheader on the channel. And that will kick off at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Our main event on Sunday afternoon with the NASCAR Cup race in San Diego will be at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. We usually go live about a half hour to 45 minutes before the drop of the green. On the Cup Series race days, do a little pre-race, some NASCAR trivia, and much more before we get into the race itself. So as we're under caution, Chandler Smith is currently the race leader. Lane Riggs in second. Jimmy Johnson third. Daniel Hemrick fourth. Kaz Gralla fifth. Grant Enfinger in 6th, Justin Haley 7th, Ty Majeski 8th, Gio Ruggiero 9th, Landon Lewis round out the top 10. Again, 16 laps to go under caution. We'll take a break. You're listening live. Our coverage continues. Race tonight for visual purposes on Fox Sports 1. It'll be the final race on Prime Video for the NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday, which also means that their final practice and qualifying showing are this weekend as well. Practice was actually earlier today, so when we do go live at 2:30 tomorrow, it will be qualifying only. So it'll be a very quick stream. Qualifying only tomorrow for the NASCAR Cup Series. Riley race on CW all season long. TNT begins their NASCAR Cup Series coverage starting next weekend. Back-to-back road courses on the schedule as we go to Sonoma. I will say TNT's got a very fun portion of the schedule. I'm excited for the tracks coming up here over the next month or so. We got North Wilkesboro with a points race upcoming. Brickyard 400 in Indy. Atlanta for the summer date, which has turned into one of my favorite tracks on the schedule in recent years.
In a situation like that, had to buy the bar around. So unfortunately not there, but it has happened.
Fun place right up the street. Let's check in with Caitlin.
Well, right now I want to tell a story about Kyle Ayala. He is actually the interior mechanic on the 44 truck for Andres Perez, but he told me he was also an engineman and diesel mechanic in the Navy. He explained to me he's worked in damage control and as a fire party leader while he was actually stationed on the USS Avenger ship in Japan. And this ship was crucial asset in locating and neutralizing naval mines. So that ship ended up being decommissioned in 2014. It was actually brought right to this base in Coronado. So it's a special day for him, just reflecting on some of those memories, his time in the Navy from 2013 to 2017, and now working with Andres Perez. Jamie?
Caitlin, thank you. And Al Neese, the owner of that team, we heard from him earlier. He served in the Navy and he actually trained right here on Coronado. So some memories going way back in the day for him to be racing here. 3 trucks in the field. Pretty special.
Pretty special getting to talk to Al. We saw one of his pit crews jump over the wall. It had camouflage uniforms. It looked really cool to see them celebrating 250 here.
This is unfortunate right here, Michael. We talked about what a great day Grant Enfinger is having. He brought it in, and Amanda just told us in break that he made a battery change, but said that there's some more issues. As you see here, he tried to leave, and things just aren't right.
Could be an alternator situation. Brendan's been quiet today.
Uncle Brenny, we haven't talked about him.
Yeah.
Back in the truck series, first time in 13 years.
Trudging along, a lap down, however.
Yeah, and he's in the McMurray category, right? But didn't have a lot of fun. Had the accident, practice, and now right front damage and a right front tire down again.
So Statman Joe just gave me this. Trucks who have not had damage today at all, practice, qualifying, or race.
For what?
10 trucks.
Well, it's not over, Jamie.
It's
Honestly,
plenty of races.
I was
to go,
expecting
Josh.
4.
I can tell you the 38 team labored over this decision whether to pit here or stay out and try and fill the gap and hold for another
It's expecting
caution.
no trucks
They
with
elected to come in, get those 4 tires and fuel. They made their bed, they said. Now they'll see if they can get their way back to the.
With the fuel, the guys, fuel was spraying out of the nozzle.
Oh boy.
Must have felt like it was full. A lot of trucks coming to pit road. We thought we would see this. Some trucks that hit it on lap 27. That's our question, our interest, is if they can think they can stretch the fuel mileage that far to the end.
Yeah, you see Dawson Sutton broke down there at the entrance to pit road. We saw earlier that he couldn't get his truck started after he spun out. So having some more issues right here with what we thought was going to be a pretty good cycle of events for him based upon when he last pitted, but that all comes to an end right now.
So he is stuck at pit in. Work has been done on pit road. Beautiful day here in San Diego. 16 laps left. The NASCAR Craftsman Series from Naval Base Coronado.
All right, Lane Riggs is currently the race leader with Chandler Smith pitting from the lead. He had a little bit of right front fender damage, but I think it was more they were going to be short on fuel more than likely. They didn't want to try to play the guessing game and hoping that we were going to see a lot more caution laps to the finish. And they're going to pit now and try to make up as much time as they can in the closing 15 laps or so. If I had to guess, we're going to have 14 or 15 laps to go on the restart. And now Lane Riggs, who has been the fastest truck in the field, is going to be the leader. Slight tire advantage for those that are on pit road during this caution, but they're going to be very, very, very deep in traffic. We're at 45 likes. Our goal is to get to 50. So if you haven't hit the like button, definitely be sure to do so we can get to that goal. By my calculations, Mike Skinner, Joe Ruttman, Ron Hornaday Jr. is the only Truck Series race winners age 50 plus. I think Greg Biffle is on that list as well. I think Biffle was in his 50s when he won at Texas. Wasn't he? Might need to fact check that. That was in 2020. Let me look at this. First, I have to see how old he would have been now. Because I know he got a later start. Yeah, he would have been 50. He would have been 50. Right on the nose. When he won at Texas. The Biffle fan in me knew that.
Casino Spa
Knew that answer.
Resort. We've had 5 different leaders, guys. It's been...
It has, and you see these late cautions, Mike. I don't think our action is over as we see the field a little bit mixed up compared to what we had earlier. Lane Riggs has cycled out on the front side of this field with his strategy. He's got Ty Majeski right next to him on this restart. So it's going to be interesting, but I can promise you they're going to be as aggressive as they've been all day.
And Lane Riggs pitted with 23 to go. We talked about the pit window being much shorter than that, but a lot of these laps have been under caution. It's going to be interesting to see how this strategy plays out.
So you're saying we're not going to end with 4 cautions on the day?
No, we're going to have another one.
Okay. Here we go. Ty Majeski. Lane Riggs out front. What a restart for Riggs at the 34.
Green flag back in the air. Best restart of the day, bar none for anybody on the front row. Riggs has cleared well before getting into the first turn. Narrow side-by-side battle for second amongst Ty Majeski, Gio Ruggiero, and the rest of the pack fanning out into turn 2. They're nearly 4 wide on that straightaway before getting into the corner. A couple rows of 3 wide funneling down by the time they actually made the turn. There was one truck that slightly scrubbed the tire pack on the outside, but for the most part, they all got through unscathed. Relatively speaking. Just getting that one clean corner out in front in turn 1 for Lane Riggs, and he is set sail in a hurry. Unbelievable. Got a 1.9 second advantage over Ty Majeski already in second. Oh, Jimmy Johnson, a little contact further back with Jackson Lee in the number 2 truck that was right around the 10th place position. And hopefully the one truck of Johnson's doing all right. He was having a good run going for him. He does have fresher tires to those that are just in front of him right now, so he's really trying to attack. Not to mention he is in the middle of that hornet's nest back in the middle of the pack. Just got by Adam Andretti for 9th. Not much damage on the one truck of Johnson. We'll continue to see exactly how many more spots he's going to be able to pick up in the closing laps. 15 laps is a long ways to go around this course. So battling with Andretti. Thought he had made the pass on him for 9th. He had not. Johnson still in the rearview mirror. And they'll be coming through for 14 to go at the line.
To the top 10. It's just fun to see these guys fight all day long and then.
In the back of the pack now, but meanwhile up front, 14 laps to go here. Lane Riggs with the 2.5-second lead over Ty Majeski. Majeski looking for his first win of the season.
And the way that this caution fell, it has really mixed up the field. We have a lot of names up in the front of this line that we haven't seen all day. Obviously, late next time, Majeski. Gio Rogero started at the back of this field. Ankrum, we haven't seen all day. Honeycutt, he wrecked his truck and is still sitting there running 5th right now. Chandler Smith, who was dominating the race, running 7th. Nicholson, he was nowhere in sight all day. So a lot of things have cycled into what we have as to what we think is the final strategy of everybody's day, Josh.
For Lane Riggs in that 34 truck, the team said he is close on fuel. They told him to fill the gap and then manage it. A couple seconds ago, they came over the radio and said, I want you to go 80% on the straightaway. So they are close on fuel, trying to manage it here.
Yeah, Josh, I think Caden Honeycutt might be sitting a little pretty. Scott Zipadelli reminding him that he's got a lot of time to go. Just work this truck little by little, guys. Remember, he got into that wall. They had to come down pit road and made that stop for tires and took fuel. Caden Honeycutt could be the one that moves up in this race just on fuel alone, guys.
He's the best of the top 5 as far as fuel goes. He hit it on lap 31, so 9. This is all providing we don't go overtime. And I think the chances of that are probably pretty good that we would do that. But Honeycutt's in great position. And you heard earlier Chandler Smith's team tell him we're in trouble. We would put ourselves in a bind here. He's in the top 10 with plenty of fuel to go to the finish. He can run hard all the way to the checker. You see him 7th there, running right with these guys.
Battle of the teammates right here. Gio Rogero, Caden Honeycutt. They go down the hill into turn 2.
Yeah, and Chandler Smith, he just wants to do everything he can to keep Caden Honeycutt in sight. Because if this thing goes into overtime, Michael, you're going to have your hands full. 3 wide.
Wow, I can't believe they made it.
It's on the inside, and he comes out ahead of both.
Well, he knows the urgency right now to stay with that 11 truck, and he also knows the urgency if those other guys make it. He can't get too far behind because when Lane Riggs has to go into fuel conservation mode, they don't know if they're going to be able to make it. So if he's gonna make up the ground that he needs to stay with this 11 truck, and if not pass him. That 11 truck has a ton of right rear damage. Still making fairly good lap time, but Chandler Smith knows that he has to go right now.
I think it's so funny. It's come down to this. We talked in practice earlier about the fuel window. How far can they go? Can they get there? And now we're sitting right there on the bubble. Some guys that might not be able to quite make it. This guy up front, leading the race in control, but he's really tight on gas.
Look at the biggest mover since we went back to racing, lap 36. Chandler Smith on the move, 10 positions gained. Laps to go here at Naval Base Coronado. We're going to step aside. You won't miss a thing. We're going Fox side by side.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson's actually got 2 Cup wins without Chad Knaus as crew chief. 2006, the Daytona 500, and then okay, I didn't even see Austin Sullivan beat me to it in the chat. 2006 Daytona 500, Las Vegas in the spring of 2006. He won with Darian Grubb as his crew chief. I believe that is where Grubb got his crew chiefing start, basically, before, of course, went on to crew chief Denny Hamlin in later years. But he was in replacement of Knaus when Knaus was on suspension at the start of that season. I believe Chad was suspended the first 5 races that year, and Johnson won 2 of the first 5. And of course, together they were able to win the Daytona 500 in 2013. Johnson ran it back, and that would have been Chad's only Daytona 500 win as a crew chief. Down to 12 laps to go in this race. Lane Riggs, our current leader, is out ahead by 2.9 seconds over Ty Majeski. Caden Honeycutt 3.8 seconds back in third. Chandler Smith 4.9 back in fourth. And Tyler Ankrum 6.5 seconds out of the lead, rounding out the top 5 in fifth. 6 is Gio Ruggiero, 7.4 seconds back. Nathan Nicholson still holding on to 7th at 9.7 seconds back. Jimmy Johnson in 8, 10.4 off the lead. Christian Eckes 11.5 seconds back in 9th. And Brendan Queen 14.1 seconds, rounding out the top 10 off the race leader. So Lane Riggs leads. Kind of light on fuel. He has led the most laps today. He's probably been the dominant truck. Not probably. He has been the dominant truck of the day by way of speed. Nobody has been able to beat him there. Can somebody beat him maybe on fuel mileage to get the win? We'll have to wait and see. Again, his lead is 2.9 seconds over Majeski. Honeycutt and Smith closing back there at 3.8 and 4.9 seconds back, third and fourth. Kind of the closing stretch. We're going to end the chat poll for who you believe will win tonight's race. Usually we close that at the end of stage 2. I didn't get the poll up and running until after the race began, so I give you a little extra time. Jimmy Johnson at 44% of the votes, the favorite to win in San Diego. Sentimental favorite there. Lane Riggs at 26%, 17% of you taking somebody other than Riggs. Johnson or Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt getting 13% of the 46 votes. Lane Riggs, leader. Johnson in 8th. Honeycutt in 3rd of the 3 on that list. We'll take one more break. You're listening live, KRC, final 10 laps in San Diego.
Yeah. 11 to go here. Lane Riggs continues to lead, and moments ago, problems for Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, no.
Be the battle for the win right there.
What happened to Jimmy?
No, Jimmy Johnson hit by Nathan
Oh.
there. And around goes Johnson. Did the 360 and kept gunning it. Still inside the top 15.
I'm not sure where he was, but he came out on the other side of the smoke and only lost 4 or 5 spots. So
Poor Jimmy.
Cats right here have
Get something to get Ray going.
We were listening to all the stories about stretch it, conserve fuel. You can make it lane. All the way buying into that. I mean, it's a way stretch. This track's 3.4 miles long, and they were talking a couple of laps short on fuel. How do you make that up?
Well, first thing I do is slow it down. He's still the fastest, one of the top.
What are you throttle for? Furthermore, early up here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're telling him is to go from 80% to 65%. So they definitely know that his pace is too fast for the comfort level that they're looking for to make it on fuel.
And the 38 has a lot of pace right now. He's got plenty of fuel, good tires. You can see him heating up Ty Majeski there. What he wants to do, Kevin, is make this pass as quick as he can and go push the 34 to have more pace to run harder to burn that fuel.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Michael. You got to get up here and push that pace as hard as you can to make him burn the gas that he needs, because you're going to get there and then he's going to have to go.
Jake Garcia slow just before turn 5.
That could bring out a caution right now.
So he has completely lost power.
There it
Caution is out. for the 5th time today.
Well, that's definitely going to help Lane Riggs' case to be able to shut that truck off, start coasting, start saving gas under caution. The only thing that puts him in a really vulnerable spot is if you get to overtime.
And I think that Chandler Smith has just he's got, we heard 65% and upshift early. Chandler Smith is thinking 110%, whatever I got to do to push to get there because he's got a fast truck.
Chandler Smith was the fastest truck on the track the last 2 laps, pushing for everything.
But we know that Lane was backed off, so we don't really know what the top speed is for Lane Riggs and when he's pushing. I think he's got the pace to run with Chandler Smith, but he doesn't necessarily have the ability to burn too much fuel. I think that these caution laps are going to give them some breathing room, but he's not going to have any cushion if we go into overtime.
Well, with 10 laps to go here at Naval Base Coronado, how is this one going to shake out? Stay with us from beautiful San Diego.
Caution with 10 laps to go. Lane Riggs leads. 17 laps led today out of 40 complete. This time by at the line just over the 2-hour mark at today's Craftsman Truck Series race. And it's going to be a late race restart with less than 10 laps to go in a new street course race in the Truck Series. So that's anything. That is probably saying that this is going to get wild. All here watching live on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage of the race continues. You can check the community tab for start times on the rest of the streams for the weekend. But again, just to reiterate that 2:30 p.m. Eastern will be our next live stream tomorrow afternoon for NASCAR Cup Series qualifying. Double header on the channel because after that stream, then we'll also be live for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at 5 p.m. Eastern. And the NASCAR Cup race Sunday, Father's Day, and that will be beginning at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So there's our live commentary window for NASCAR in San Diego this weekend. Is that Las Vegas race and didn't realize that? Yep. Chad Knaus was he was suspended. Chad got suspended often, if I remember correctly. Fined. They were constantly finding stuff in that 48 car. The master manipulator, Chad Knaus. Did a great job skewing and building race cars, didn't he? No, in all seriousness, though, probably the greatest crew chief of all time. Can we call him the greatest crew chief of all time? Like, we look at all these drivers in NASCAR history, and a lot of these Hall of Fame drivers have multiple crew chiefs over the years, but Jimmy, for the most part, pretty much had one up until the last year or two of his career, but it was a very, very solid career. I'd say the greatest crew chief of all time.
Right inside this facility.
It is hard to put into words just the type of event that this is and just everything that has gone into planning. And, oh, by the way, we're having a race too, but the sailors, the whole base itself, everything that NASCAR has done, the promotion leading up to it, and then the on-track action, Jamie.
It's been great from the get-go. That was the initial start. Great battle between Caden Honeycutt and Lane Riggs. That might be what's shaping up here at the end of this one.
Lane showed early in this race he had a lot of pace, and then the action started picking up. Spin there, Nathan Nicholson into the side of Dawson Sutton. But the stage one victory, right there, Lane Riggs. Watch this. Caden Honeycutt slides past the corner, and Lane was on his way.
7 times takes the lead. Jimmy Johnson.
Uncle Jamie hit the wall hard there off of turn 16, ended his day. What a battle for stage 2. Parker Twiggerman taking the checker flag.
Tate Honeycutt on the restart here. Chandler Smith has been up there battling top 4 all race long. Big hit for Tate Honeycutt into the wall after the barrier.
And then Lane Riggs back in control of the race. Under caution now, saving all the fuel he can to try to stretch it to the checker flag.
We've had 5 different leaders today, 13 lead changes, 5 cautions for 10 laps.
We saw Jimmy go around for a spin, so the team has elected to come in. He was back in 18th position, so I think this is just a call to get fresh tires and try to charge through the field.
And no matter what's happened today, I mean, Jimmy Johnson, just being in the truck race and being able to be in the truck race today and the cup race on Sunday and in front of what would be considered his hometown is pretty special. And I know Jimmy's 50 years old. We're all getting old, but it's definitely been a lot of fun to see him at the front of the pack. And I hope it spurs his enthusiasm to keep coming back and running some of these truck races. Cup race, it's too hard. Those guys take it too serious. You can have a lot of fun here in the trucks.
I think it's funny, Kevin, you said you're getting old. Well, congratulations, because I got old. I'm officially there.
Yeah.
So there's the 50 is a good memory for me.
Racing action all weekend long, and the stars of the IndyCar Series take over Road America in Wisconsin. Alex Blow looks to continue his dominance there, going for his 4th win in 6 years on the road course at Elkhart Lake. It's the fastest racing on earth. That's Sunday, 2 Eastern on Fox. Elkhart Lake, what a beautiful area.
Yeah, I
racing at its finest.
I had never been there until the year we ran the cup car there. And it was an amazing crowd. I hate that things didn't work out to keep going back there. I mean, there was 100,000 people there in the woods, in the grandstand. They were all over, everywhere.
Caitlin.
Well, listening in to Ty Majeski's radio, also had a conversation with him this morning about his season as a whole. He told me it's been so up and down as of late. He said any issue that could happen, we've been experiencing it the last couple of weeks. But he said this is the time of year when my team really starts to come into their own. Of course, he added lots of unknowns with this street course today, but he believed his past success on road courses could help him. 8 top 10s in the last 10 races on the road courses. His team telling him now, though, max save. Also noting a couple teams mentioning compromised visibility because of that setting sun. Amanda?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the 42 of Tyler Reif. He's racing in honor of Colonel John W. Ripley here this weekend. Actually, just yesterday, Colonel Ripley picked up the Medal of Honor at the White House. Colonel Ripley passed away in 2008. His son Tom was there to pick it up. You can see that livery design of the camo. The team is decked out in camo fire suits as well. But interesting tie here. Colonel Ripley was known for his valor in Vietnam, and the former owner of Nice Motorsports, Al Nice, was in combat alongside Colonel Ripley.
Well, thank you to him and to all those who serve, who defend our freedom so that we can race and live in such a beautiful, free country like we do.
We could come here and celebrate 250 years of the Navy. What a special weekend. I just can't get over it.
I can't either, Miles.
I mean, this is life-changing when you are able to visit and see this facility.
And we've been to a lot of races. I mean, I feel like I've been all around the world to watch races, and just the fact that we are here doing this event on this military base, naval base, is I can't express enough just how awesome it is.
Well, the front 2 on the front row pitted with 33 laps to go. We know they're tight on gas. Row 2 has plenty of gas, so wow, this is going to be crazy.
The 8 laps to go here when they see the green flag once again. And Caitlin had mentioned there's been some concern about the setting sun. Keep our eye on that.
I don't think we've seen our last caution either, folks.
No, we're going to take the green with 8 laps to go. And you know, I think Lane Riggs, he's got to get a good restart right here, because I believe Chandler Smith can run with him and put him in a spot where he has no choice but to go. I think they're good on gas until they get to the advertised end of this race, but we're about to find out. Chandler Smith's got to be aggressive right here to stay with him.
All right, here we go. Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski, front row restart. 8 laps to go at San Diego. Green flag is back in the air. Second consecutive great restart for Riggs. Chandler Smith, the better restart from road number 2, is going to take over the second place position easily over Majeski. Into the second turn, 3 wide in the middle of the pack. Running out of real estate in between turns 3 and 4. Can't believe that many trucks are barreling down into these corners 2 and 3 wide and somehow making it through with very minimal contact. There is contact, don't get me wrong, but it's so subtle. Gotta be careful, of course, with that, not to end up rubbing tires too much, bending fenders in, cause a flat tire, and with that, who knows what could happen. Bump and run into turn number 7. Hayden Honeycutt to the back of Ty Majeski for third. Honeycutt, not somebody who has been that aggressive when going for wins in recent weeks, but he is looking to be that here today. Using that maneuver for third on Majeski. He's got a truck capable to run down these 2 leaders in front of him. Lane Riggs on a slight tire disadvantage to the 38 and the 11, who had pitted for tires a little bit later than him. Riggs had been the class of the field all day long, but that would be the great equalizer. And the bad news is for Riggs is he's still got 7 laps to go, this time by at the line. It's a lot of laps to try to hold on. Still going to be tight on fuel also. We had a few caution laps, but with the long laps in general here, I'm not sure how much he was able to save. Definitely more than if he was to run those laps all under green. Monitor that more a little bit as we go. Through turn 16 in the final corner, we are down to 7 laps to go, and Chandler Smith to the inside of Lane Riggs. It'll actually be the outside for turn 1, and Smith is clear. Riggs going to widen his arc out, back the corner up in turn 2. Brakes early. Chandler Smith sails it off much deeper. Riggs trying to build up some momentum so he can try to strike in turn 3. The 2 teammates that battle nose to tail at the front of the field. It's Chandler Smith now out in front for the 3rd different time today. I'm not saying that Riggs is going to be out of it yet, but he just doesn't look to have the tire grip level that these other 2 trucks around him do to be able to compete. The longer this run goes, those tires will even out a bit. Still plenty of time for Chandler Smith to make a mistake, slip those rear tires, and then he's going to have some problems. Cording could still become an issue. Seen that from several teams, not only in the race today, but all throughout practice and on-track activity across all 3 series, not just in the trucks. Yes, thank you to all that have hit the like button on the stream tonight. We did get to our goal of 50 likes. As Frank Powers in the chat just mentioned. So again, thank you so much for that. Smith pulling away. We're going to have a battle for second here, though, shortly between Caden Honeycutt and Lane Riggs. And we'll see if Honeycutt still got something for Chandler Smith. Smith trying to get back into the regular season title fight with the 2 trucks he's trying to hold off here of Lane Riggs and Caden Honeycutt for the win. He's 90 points back, but remember, a race win is 25 more points than second place, so he can cut into that quite a bit just based off of that alone. Has not won since the season opener at Daytona. Smith did lead in points for the first few races of the season, up until Lane Riggs was able to get the race win in race 3 in St. Petersburg. And Smith ended up back in the lead for a couple more races after that. Not the case anymore, obviously, as he sits 3rd. But it's not over yet. After today's race, we will have 5 races to go in the regular season for the Craftsman Truck Series before the chase begins for their final 7 races. And The points for the top 14 in chase contention, all scrolling across the top of the screen throughout tonight's coverage. Going to have 5 laps to go this time by. Chandler Smith has led for just 6 laps today, 20 for Riggs, 10 for Honeycutt. These 3 drivers have led the most laps of any today. Jimmy Johnson is able to lead for 2. Parker Kligerman actually won stage 2 today. He's in 17th. He also led for 6 laps. But a few drivers off the lead lap with damage and or out of the race. Only 26 trucks on the lead lap, and Muniz about a minute and a half off of the race leader. Last truck in the lead lap, and he's got quite a bit of damage. Still trying to stay in it. Lane Riggs trying to keep up with Chandler Smith. Smith was getting away from Riggs, a couple mistakes over the course of the last lap, and Lane Riggs has closed the gap again. He's within 0.4 of a second of his teammate. Up at the front of the pack. That last lap, Riggs was about 1/10.5 faster than Chandler Smith. Fell behind for a little bit, and he's back on the attack again. And Riggs has been one of the few drivers to make clean, efficient passes at a pretty rapid rate. So if he gets the opportunity again, he could strike.
Chandler Smith, I love that shot. Down the hill, like Riggs right.
It makes me laugh every time that they go over that bump, and I've watched it all day now, in all three series, and every time they go over that bump like that and jump off the ground, it makes me smile, and it's just so cool to watch.
That sounds funny to say, Craftsman 5 to go. You think, oh, we're almost done. It's about 80 turns. It's going to be about 15 miles. There's a lot that can take place in 5 laps.
Are you counting 12 as 1 or 12 as 3?
Oh, that's another great
Okay,
question.
I was just checking.
We're sorting through it. Yeah.
12A, 12B,
Or
or to 12C.
we did introduce C earlier. And then what's the chicane?
Nothing. It's just the chicane.
This is awesome. No matter what we call these corners, it's lived up to everything else that we're experiencing here at the naval base.
3rd longest road course we've ever raced at. I quizzed you guys earlier. Do you remember what the
Lane Riggs in the wall down the middle of the straightaway right there.
That shows you how hard he's pushing, just trying to get that angle, sweeping into the corner the best he can. Look at the leader. His right front fender's tore off. Just attacking every corner.
And I think Lane knows he's going to have to use for a racetrack. He's going to have to be a little more on edge if he's going to get to the back bumper of that 38 truck and challenge him for this race win. But like you said, Mike, he was trying to get every square inch down the straightaway and just got himself a little bit too far to the right. I don't think there's anything that's going to harm what he's doing right now, but definitely a mistake.
I'm still not sure he's going to make it on gas. I mean, that's a big stretch from what we heard earlier. The most laps they could run. We'll see. Keep that in mind because he's pushing hard now. You can tell by this angle into that corner scrubbing the wall.
Chandler Smith last pitted on lap 34. Lane Riggs behind him last pitted on 27. Riggs was just the fastest that last lap, guys. So not thinking a lot here. They feel comfortable. But to your point, Kevin, earlier, if we go into overtime, does he have enough?
Well, if he's going to win this race, he can't save anything because Chandler Smith is in a position to go all out. So he has no choice at this point. Honeycutt, his truck has not really been the best truck all day. It would take off 4 or 5 laps that were pretty good, and then it would kind of start to fade.
Oh, we got a caution.
Chandler Smith and Riggs.
Oh, big
Caution
contact.
is out once again. Tyler Ankrum hard into the wall. He was running
Same spot.
top 5. Move that whole barrier.
Yeah, off the last corner, turn 16, where we saw Uncle Jamie wreck earlier.
That has seen the most
Oh, my
action
gosh.
today. That is destroyed.
It has torn the whole side off of that truck, Michael.
That's incredible. By the way, Uncle Jamie was just in the booth here for a minute, and we asked him if he was okay, and he said it was a hard hit, but he was feeling all right. But look at that concrete just busted right out of the way.
Look at the chunks taken out, that concrete wall.
Yeah, and it's
They're gonna have to do something to reinforce that wall,
It's
so they
almost
have
like
to.
you're going to need to put another barrier behind those barriers so that doesn't happen again. You're almost going to have to double up. They're going to hit it for the next 2 days as well.
Here's what happened to Tyler Ankrum.
Yeah, just a little bit wide. There's a ton of marbles right there off of turn 16, the last corner on the racetrack. If you get just a little bit offline right there, that's what's going to happen every time.
And then Majeski, he was closing in on Majeski right here, as you can see, and you lose your line of sight a bit.
He just hit that bump. Did you see that bump in the middle of the corner, Mike? And it got it offline. That's what we've seen so many of them do today over that bump right there. Just you hit it wrong and it gets you offline. And there is no grip over there offline.
Well, and we also have to think about, we talked about NASCAR overtime. Ankrum getting this, NASCAR is working feverishly to get this truck pulled away, but they're going to have to fix the wall. So if they don't red flag it, we could go into overtime.
Yeah.
They're going to red flag it, we're being told. So they can repair that wall for the second time today.
Well, we've seen a little bit of everything, and now we can add a red flag to the list of events that have taken place.
It'll be interesting to see what has happened with that barrier for it to come apart. You see that those two hoops that metal rod runs through that's supposed to keep them all together. That makes me think that the other barrier is broke. But I'm just guessing.
There's some stories that have developed in the top 10 with Ankrum crashing. Christian Eckes, we saw him crash pretty heavily in practice. He's up in the top 10. Landon Lewis has rallied from a couple of slips and slides. He's in the top 10.
Ben Rhodes, he's been all over the place.
He had a couple of wrecks. And then just outside the top 10, Kaz Gralla is there. And then the first Ram in the running order is Justin Haley. He's 12th.
So the cleanup crew or course workers taking a hard look at these barriers. See if they need to replace them or if they can repair them quickly. So while we remain here, red flag, and a lot of action up at this point. There's 4 laps to go. We're going to step aside. We'll be back after preparing for that.
One of the longer Truck Series races of the season just got a little bit longer. Might be headed to NASCAR overtime, and on top of it, a red flag for the first time today, and that is because of the wall breaking in turn 16, like legitimately breaking. It is exposed following a massive impact for Tyler Ankrum, and it seems like every truck throughout the course of the race that has hit the wall in turn 16, the following truck just hits it harder and harder, and here we are. They actually had to fix the wall after Jamie McMurray had hit it towards the end of stage 2. Now they're having to repair it again, and unfortunately this time, though, a caution came out as Tyler Ankrum was not able to get off the racetrack and out of the way after he just murdered the outside wall in turn 16. So under the red flag conditions, Chandler Smith is our race leader. Lane Riggs in second. He's going to be really, really tight on fuel to the end, especially if we go past the scheduled distance. Hayden Honeycutt in third, Ty Majeski fourth, Tyler Ankrum, who just crashed, was running fifth. He was having a great day going for him. Tyler Reif in sixth, Daniel Hemrick seventh, Christian Eckes in eighth, Landon Lewis ninth, Ben Rhodes rounds out the top 10. Even he had some damage earlier, too. It's a good rebound for Ben. Kaz Gralla 11, Justin Haley will round out the top dozen. I'll tell you what, man, I can't catch a break with these truck races. The Friday night ones. The Friday night ones when I have to work and I'm up for so long, something always happens. Whether it's a 3-hour rain delay, the wall breaking. Wonder what it's going to be next time. My bed is calling me. It's tough. Sometimes I nap when I get home from work before I have to stream. Sometimes I don't have enough time to do so. Tonight I had time and I just didn't do it. So tonight's on me. Staying hydrated though.
Area established back
Helps.
in 1922. How about this? How
Helps
big
with
is
the
it?
team.
Over 1,600 land acres and 300 acres of water. We're 36,000 military and civilian personnel. 3,300 right here where we are on the naval base Coronado. And you see there's a lot of residential here on this small island as well. A lot of hotels out there. And just beyond, you see those hills? That is Mexico. The border's about 10 miles from here. Imperial Beach. You see any of the movies about Navy SEALs and them rolling on in the sand and swimming? That's right out there on that beach. Hell Week, it all takes place right out there. So 4 laps to go here. We're under a red flag. Let's hear from our leader's crew chief, Josh.
Yeah, standing by with John Leonard. So your driver is out front. 4 to go. The biggest battle seems to be with your teammate in the 34, Lane Riggs. So what are you telling your driver about what you need to take this thing home?
Yeah, honestly, he's been really good all day. He's drove from the back to front, a couple times, and honestly, it's in his hands. Right, he's the best driver out there. He got the best trucks, the front row trucks. We brought a couple new trucks here today, and I feel like they really shut out. So props to everybody in the shop and everybody that puts their hands on these things. You can tell they're good pieces today.
We'll up the rest of the way. Amanda?
Yes.
Hey, Josh, yeah, standing by next to Ron Hornaday. We got him down from the perch up there, and he said, why you want to talk to me? I said, you're a legend, and a legend that's been working with Landon Lewis since he was 11 years old. He started at the rear of this pack today from hitting the wall and qualifying, currently running up in the top 10. What will you say to Landon after this race?
I can't say nothing other. He's doing a good job. We started from the back 2 or 3 times already, but the yellow flag's not playing in our standards, I should say. We pitted, put tires on. We're the ones that probably got the freshest tires, but the yellow's not helping. Everybody's going to make it on fuel. I thought everybody's going to at least have to pit one more time, but they're not.
What'd you be able to do with a track like this?
I've been fortunate enough to go to Mexico and Japan and stuff like that, but to do something like this is pretty darn cool. This is, I like to see the pictures of the trucks right next to the ship on the back straightaway and everything. It's just awesome for the Navy and our military to let us do this. It's pretty cool.
And what's tomorrow?
I don't know. Another day for me. I guess it's my birthday, they say, but we'll be flying, so it's all right. Maybe they'll have a birthday cake on the plane. I don't know.
Legendary birthday at that, guys.
Happy birthday, Ron Hornaday. You know a little something about that man right there, Kevin. You guys go way back.
We do go way back. We raced on the West Coast together. I actually slept on his couch for a while when I first moved to North Carolina, and Ron's been so instrumental in so many people's careers, but mine personally, just to help understand the sport, know what I needed to do, and Ron and Lindy have just been so good to everybody. Ron has been a big part of it. His daughter, Candace, actually runs everything that we do on the late model side of things at KHI and on the Cars Tour. So Hornaday family is still very much involved in what we do at KHI.
About this, Ron Hornaday, one of 3 drivers who won in their 100th start in the Truck Series. Chandler Smith making his 100th start today as he leads. That's our stat boys. Great. Oh, guess who was another one of those 3 drivers that won on their 100th start?
Mike?
Kevin Harvick.
Oh, really? Who knew?
Phoenix in 2009 in your 100th start.
Well,
I had 100 starts.
yeah. That's right. Feels like it was 100 years ago.
It was good company.
Yeah.
We'll see if Chandler Smith can hang on to it and become the fourth driver to win in their 100.
NASCAR sent out the safety guys to make sure everybody inside of those trucks was well hydrated as the repairs continue on the wall.
Well,
They're getting it closed up.
this is good. Good little note here. They said all of the wall components are intact, so they're going to lift and reset. So we're not going to replace. Lynn.
Well, it makes the process a little
Well,
bit
we know
quicker.
this event is all about the military, and I am joined by Zachary Schechtman, who is a petty officer first class, has been in the Navy for 11 years. What's it been like having NASCAR here at your home base?
That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for the support, and God bless America. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much.
Did you ever think you'd see race cars going around this place? I mean, this is pretty unprecedented.
I don't know. This is my second tour here. This is just truly incredible. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being here. So we're obviously watching the Craftsman Truck Series race. Is there a driver and team that you would like to see visit Victory Lane here for the first time?
Jimmy Johnson, already saw it, so it was great.
There you go. He's rooting for Jimmy Johnson for the win today. Jamie?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's going to be an uphill climb from here, but what a show he put on earlier.
He did put on a show. You know what I've learned from the last two interviews? We need more sunscreen down there. Caitlin's going to need some sunscreen on her face, and Ron Hornaday is going to need 2 bottles.
Well, to Caitlin's credit, we all showed up about 6:30 this morning, and it was overcast. The marine layer was here, so you sometimes forget about.
Well,
those things.
it's sunny and windy, so
It
those
is.
of us that aren't out in the sun a lot, it creates a sunburn.
I think you got sunburn at SeaWorld yesterday, Kevin.
Let's not talk about my tan.
Great day, great week for many of us down here in San Diego. USS Carl Vinson, one of the greatest backdrops we've seen. Stay with us. We're going to wrap this thing up soon.
Yeah, good news is they don't have to replace the wall as much as they just have to restructure it back to where it was. Basically what they ended up doing before. I will say with them doing that, they're going to have to find a way to get some sturdier walls, or like Kevin Harvick said, like double up on it so that way it doesn't fold like that, because it's the second incident we've seen already today. Obviously, with it being the first year of running a race here, going to go through some growing pains with the track itself, just making sure it's not only up to the safety measures that it has to be up to, but also we don't want to have stoppages in the racing action like we've had a couple of times today now to repair the wall. This is the first red flag, and I think the only reason the race is red instead of under caution is because we're down to 4 laps to go as we've gotten to this incident. Because the last time this happened at the end of stage 2, ran about 4 caution laps, so we were right back underway again. But don't want the race to go past a scheduled distance with fuel becoming an issue for some drivers because of having to replace the wall, and just keep running extra caution laps essentially. So I would assume we're going to restart with 2 laps to go. I doubt we're going to get it in this time by coming to 3 to go. NASCAR still going to have to open pit road up, which will be probably this time by. Red flag has been lifted, and we are under a caution yet again. As you all probably see on screen. We'll go through the full field running order again as we get into what could be the final restart of the day. Chandler Smith is the leader. Lane Riggs in second. Caden Honeycutt third. Ty Majeski fourth. And Tyler Ankrum wasn't fit, just crashed. So Tyler Reif is now going to be in fifth. With Daniel Humrick sixth. Christian Eck is seventh. Landon Lewis eighth. Ben Rhodes ninth. Kaz Gralla rounding out the top 10. Justin Haley in 11th. And Gio Ruggiero 12th. So that's the top half dozen. Full dozen. Top 12. Top 6 rows, give or take. For the next restart. Leiden turned 16 for tomorrow and Sunday. I don't think they're going to make any configurations to the track by way of widening it because they have already had a practice session fundamentally changing the corner. I don't know that that's necessarily the right way to go.
Flag proudly flying over that hotel. I might move out now that you told me there's a haunted room.
Got to look it up, Kevin. It's serious.
I'll wait till I'm home.
I lived here for about 6 years, went to San Diego State University, and that's one of the first stories we learned about. The sailors, they're having a great time. It's like, what? We're on camera? Been out here all day. It was an early day for everyone. We've had all 3 NASCAR series on track.
Well, that's a great view from the top of that ship.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson stalled.
See, they had to tape up his hood. Got him all squared away, and now it won't go.
Poor Jimmy.
The restart zone there. Here comes the wrecker. They're getting a workout right now. Let's check in with Josh.
And I'm down here with Dylan Capella, the crew chief of the 34 team with Lane Riggs. So first of all, how are you guys on fuel? And then also, what are you telling your driver about how to get around your teammate and take this thing home?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just want to, 1-2, finish this for Front Row Motorsports. They've done a really good job. Everybody at Front Row doing a good job building these road course trucks and having 2 really fast pieces for these superstars to go drive around here. So it's been an awesome event to be a part of. I think we just got to be really smart here on this last restart. There's going to be some chaos, and it might not be the last one. So we're just going to go give it our all here and push for 2 hard laps and see who comes out on top.
And you guys feel good about the fuel you got left?
Yes. Yeah.
Simple and straight to the point. Appreciate it.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, well, the great part about Dylan is he's not just a crew chief, he's a racer. He has a late model, and I actually saw him on the entry list next week for our Cars Tour West race that we're having in Monroe, Washington, at Evergreen Speedway. We'll all be out there racing next week, and Dylan's on the entry list.
How fun is that?
He's
It's
been in a few
weekend off.
races, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weekend off for the truckers, so John Capella's going racing.
That's right.
That's got to be so helpful for his driver, Lane Riggs. They just speak the same language, right?
Yeah, and that was how it was with Rodney Childers and I. You know, he used to race and understood the cars and the lingo, right? And understands that the driver's going to yell sometimes and be mad, and knows what it's like sitting behind the seat. When you have a crew chief that not only race but is still actively racing, just keeping up with what it's like inside the vehicles, the changes, and all the things that you go through as a driver, that is second to none. Good to have because of the fact that they have that real life experience.
Well, Front Row Motorsports right now, first and second. He mentioned we just want to finish like that. They've only done it actually one time before, North Wilkesboro, May of last year. Smith won that race and Riggs was second.
See Riggs working those tires in. You want to make sure that when they say go, you've got all the rubble debris cleaned off your tires. See him shaking that truck up there, that Chandler Smith, as they choose the restart lines.
Not a lot of races left in the regular season for the truckers, guys. We are getting there. Here we go, final 6.
Love these 6 races too.
It's only 5 left after this. Michael, look at that. We're going right to another road course
I love
weeks
that.
from now.
Yeah, I love that they're going back-to-back road courses. Lime Rock, a great place to race. North Wilkesboro, take it to the short track. All short tracks. 1 road course and all the short tracks left on the schedule before we get to the chase for the championship.
I sure do love going to New Hampshire. I mean, that's just a lot of great race fans up in that part of the country. The trucks put on an awesome show there.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Weather's always beautiful up there this time of year. I don't know that you're going to be able to top this, but it'll be nice in New Hampshire.
I mean, what's this going to mean? Whoever ends up victorious and taking home that trophy, what a big win. What a big day to be the first winner at this event in front of all these sailors, 3,300 of them on this base alone.
It's just, it'd be incredible. It would have to be, like I said earlier, creating a Daytona trophy would be a hard thing to do, but darn, this is an inaugural event at this beautiful facility. This would be one of the best trophies in NASCAR to win. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or the next day, these guys will cherish getting a victory here. Now we just got to see if we can run a couple laps without running each other off the road.
It's so wild to me, Mike, that every time that we get back under caution and you see just the dust still flying out of these things, it's like it never cleans up.
A lot of sand out there as well, obviously being
yeah.
right next to the water. Hard to clean it all up. All right, guys, here we go. It'll be
All right, pace truck is in. Field will be heading for turn 16. 2 laps to go. Not overtime, but 2 to go for the restart. Green flag back in the air. Chandler Smith, the control truck, as the leader, getting pushed by Caden Honeycutt down the main straightaway into turn 1, where Smith is clear, now by several truck lengths off the exit of turn 1, headed down the hill for turn 2, side by side for second between Caden Honeycutt and Lane Riggs. One truck smoking the tires deep into the corner. It's Ben Rhodes. He gets smashed by several trucks, and we've got a pileup in between turns 3 and 4. 3 trucks are spun around with damage, but we do stay green for now. Chandler Smith still continues to lead with Caden Honeycutt in second. Tyler Reif has made his way up to third. Showing a replay of all the carnage that happened off of turn 2 in the back of the pack. And caution flag is now out again, and now we're going overtime.
Well, that's gonna start putting some pressure on these guys that don't have the same amount of fuel that Chandler Smith has.
You saw there when Ben came on the road and just kept everybody, squeezed everyone together. And Nicholson was the only truck that couldn't drive off.
Yeah, and there's some debris, big pieces of debris right there behind Nicholson's truck. Looks like a crush panel. That truck has hit the wall pretty hard on the left side.
fortunate.
Yeah, he was having a great run.
Great day. So I think that the count is at just 5 trucks that have not been involved in something today, whether it was practice, qualifying, and off he goes.
Got him rolling. That's a good sign.
Yeah, just couldn't get the starter to work right there. Gave him a little push and started that thing, and off he goes.
Craftsman Truck Series overtime, boys.
Well, we figured that might be the case, and
Going into the race, you knew it, Mike.
I just have to say this fuel is not. It's not over. The fuel could become a factor because restart after restart. I don't care how many caution laps you have. Eventually, you're going to use all your gas.
Right.
Lane Riggs, it's been 21 laps since he last came down pit road. We've had a red flag. We've had a lot of caution laps. A lot of work still to go, but this one's certainly not over. We're going to go overtime after this.
Overtime for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in San Diego for the first ever street race. One of the longer Truck Series races of the season is now just eclipsed 2.5 hours. That's not even counting the red flag time that we ended up having. For the second to last incident, which would have been the 6th caution. Not that we've had a lot of yellows today, it's just a long course, long race. I would say for a Truck Series race length, it probably could have been shorter. It makes me wonder how long the Cup race on Sunday is going to end up being. It might be another Coke 600. So Chandler Smith had a good restart. He's going to have to do it again. I think he was able to learn something from Lane Riggs when he was restarting in front of him on the front row a couple times earlier today and got the good jumps out of turn 16 to be clear before even getting into the kink in turn 1. Underdog of the race award, Tyler Reif in the 42 for Nice Motorsports. I don't know how many career truck starts Tyler Reif has, but it can't be many. I don't know if he's still running full-time in ARCA or not, to be completely honest. Let's look at this. Tyler Reif. He was born in 2007. My goodness. He's 19. I didn't know he was that young. Henderson, Nevada, West Coast native. What a run for Tyler Reif tonight. wanted to see here, racing reference. I don't know how many truck starts he has. I mean, he's only 19, so he can't have many. Tyler Reif. He just turned 19 years old a week and a half ago. This is Tyler Reif's 6th career truck start tonight. Seventh career truck start tonight. He had 1 start last year, and he actually had a top 10 in his 1 start last season. He's had 5 starts this season with no top 10s. Finished 9th in his lone race a season ago. No laps led. 1 career ARCA win back in 2023. And he's been part-time in ARCA too, so he hasn't even ran a full ARCA season. 11 ARCA starts, and this is his 7th truck start. That's it for the career of Tyler Reif. And here he is in 3rd, having a solid run tonight. And he's been in the top 10 the whole race. I mean, he qualified top 10. He's been running back half of the top 10. Kind of a war attrition late. Ankrum was in the top 5. He gets taken out. Survives his last restart with a few more spinning in turn 2. And here he is up to 3rd. Job well done.
Go right from turn 3 to 8 and not run into any. Well, they might run into each other, but it won't be because they couldn't see. It's going to be because they're just aggressive.
And you have to find things that are different that are not directly looking into the sun, right? Like you have to look at a different wall or a different marker or, have a different reference than what you normally do, because these are the things that we're learning about this track. We haven't been here before. So when you get to a certain time, whatever time it is, 7:12 right now, you know that you need some tape on the window, but they didn't start with any tape on the window. Didn't think that was going to be a problem.
So we're told pit road is open and Lane Riggs may be a taker.
No way.
We've been talking about the fuel situation. There's chatter.
Where is Lane Riggs?
He's right behind Reif in the 42. He got past there.
Riggs back in 4th.
Result.
He must have.
Let's see.
He must have tried to get his gap too big, and what'll happen is.
Nope, he went by. We've got another taker there, but Lane Riggs stays out.
I think that's Christian Eckes in the 91 that came to pit road. We talked about how good of a day it's been for Christian.
Yeah, and going back to the Lane Riggs thing, I would assume what happened is he didn't keep his gap under the caution, or did Reif get by him?
He got by him on
Right
the last restart.
Okay. I'm a little behind, Mike.
That's okay. We've been here a long time, Kevin.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, boys, but gosh, it's
Some
been
hours.
fun. We have. Let's listen to Lane Riggs radio.
Around the butter, we're dropping, we're pitting right here, and we're gonna put tires on. Leave it.
Well, I don't want to say I told you so, but about an hour ago I said this fuel thing isn't over. It's too big of a stretch, and we knew that the overtime was probably going to be a part of our future, and here we are.
So NASCAR overtime. Just a reminder what the rules are here. Should go green next time by. It'll be a 2-lap shootout. The leader takes the white flag. Next flag will end the race, whether that's under caution or checkered flag. Caution before the white, of course. We'll re-rack them and we'll try it again. Now we do have about 30 minutes before adverse conditions time comes into play. I don't think we're going to get there, so I'm not even going to talk about what that means.
Hello, Jamie. We hit another barrier like we just did. To move them back around. You never know.
We're trying to bust out of this place.
Those barriers out of turn 16 have had a workout today.
We saw that early this morning in practice, the first scrape into it, and it just hasn't really changed much since then.
Can you believe practice was at 9 o'clock this morning?
Wow.
It's been a long day, a very eventful day. All three series have been on track. Yeah, so let's look back at turn 16 we were just talking about and all the hits. Practice, qualifying. Ben Rhodes started it all at Connor Mozak. Justin Marks.
Oh, that's a big one for Jake Mack.
Oh, Tyler Ankrum just ripped off the whole right side of his truck there and moved the barriers out. Hats off to the cleanup crew. The track crew has done an incredible job trying to get us back and going as quickly as possible.
You know, that's what I think is so interesting about racing. We walked the track and everybody was talking about different points on the racetrack that were going to be difficult, that were going to be challenging, and all the track is. But we didn't really harp on turn 16 like that. Like, we didn't say that it was a big deal. And I'll be darned.
It's a big deal.
It's one that's got the most teeth.
Yeah, and I think that bump in the middle of turn 16, just Tyler Ankrum didn't really do much wrong right there, but that truck bounced a little bit wrong, got him up out of the groove and into the fence. So I was serious about putting another barrier back there because they're going to hit it for 2 more days. Need to double that thing up.
Choosing our restart lane. We're going to re-rack it and try to run a couple laps.
This is going to be good. Chandler Smith, Caden Honeycutt, Tyler Reif in the 42, Las Vegas native, 19 years old.
He's doing a great job. I love it when kids show up and you just know they understand it, they get it. He's put himself in a great position here late.
The 6th start this year.
Justin Haley's got his Ram up inside the top 10. Good run for him again. Well, I'm telling you, this fuel thing is going to raise its head.
Best finish for Ram this year, guys, of the 5 trucks every week. It's been 6th, and it was at the last road course at Watkins Glen by AJ Allmendinger. See if Justin Haley could better that. He's at 7th right now.
The rotating pace trucks has thrown me for a loop today.
I've never noticed this, but you said at Chicago they did the same thing.
You know, they have multiple pace trucks, but I don't know about different brands all the time.
Yeah, that was something new. This is the 3rd different OEM that we've seen represented. Equal opportunity on the naval base.
Here we go.
Through the chicane.
That was a good point there by Kevin Harvick. I didn't even notice they've been changing the pace truck all race too. Well, this new pace truck down onto pit road, and we are set to go for another restart. This time overtime. Green flag back in the air. Chandler Smith and Caden Honeycutt on the front row. And a good restart for Honeycutt getting out of the zone. And he is nose-to-nose into turn 1 and will take the lead away from Chandler Smith. Smith gets into the back of him. Slides sideways and against the wall up out of turn 1. Chandler Smith from the lead to the tail end of the lead lap. We need to get a camera on the battle for the lead. Why is the camera still on Chandler Smith? What's going on here? Side by side for the lead. Who is it? It's Lane Riggs. And I can't even tell who that is. Is that Tyler Reif in the 42? I believe so. It's Reif and Riggs going for the lead. They're side by side into turn 4. And Reif is going to come away with it. What a miracle this would be if he's able to hold on.
Here comes Lane Riggs. Taking a look to the inside. And he gets the advantage. Look at the 40.
It's actually the 19, Daniel Hemrick. I got eyes on it now. It's the 19 of Daniel Hemrick in contention for the race win with Lane Riggs. Hemrick got the lead for a brief moment. Reif is in 3rd. Riggs goes wide. Hemrick gets right back alongside of him again. We haven't seen Riggs overdrive and make many mistakes today. But there was one that opens the door up for the 19, and they make contact, and Reif is going to steal it away from both of them. Or at least the one. He gets by Riggs, trying to muscle through the bus stop on the 19 of Hemrick. This is going to be a dogfight coming back for the finish. Trading paint, trading blows, and trading the lead all over. Couple corners away from working themselves back to the main front stretch. Tyler Reif is in full block mode on series veteran Daniel Hemrick. Contact! They're hung on one another. Reif tried to make an aggressive block, and he does so successfully, and I don't know how he didn't turn himself across the front of the 19. Unbelievable. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Tyler Reif in Nice Motorsports. He's smoking. Lane Riggs back into second. Major tire rub on the 42. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it 3.4 more miles. Hemrick door-to-door for third now with Kaz Gralla in the 62 for Friesen Hallmar Racing, who's coming out of nowhere. Maybe with one of the cleaner trucks up at the front of the pack now. And Reif and Riggs are pulling away. Lane Riggs going to do whatever it takes to try to get the win, and I think we've already seen that will also be the case for Tyler Reif. His first lap led San Diego Street Course at Naval Base Coronado, coming to the white flag in his Truck Series career. The next one he leads, if he leads this time by, is going to be the race win. Left side of his truck is pancaked, but he is driving the wheels off of it. And somehow, some way, fending off Lane Riggs, who's been the dominant truck of the night. Riggs does have a slight tire disadvantage, but you would think the damage on the 42 would be slowing him down. Still worrying about those left side tires and making it the full length around this track. How badly rubbed they are. Just a few more corners to go for Tyler Reif. Riggs is still within about 2 truck lengths. He's not out of it. They're going to be coming up on the bus stop. Riggs to the back bumper of the 19-year-old. But Reif holds on and actually accelerates away from Riggs down the next straightaway. Couple more corners to go. A right-hander for Riggs. Working their way to the final corner. Into turn 16. Oh, no! Reif is going to cut the bus stop. He didn't make the corner. Riggs slams into him. A stop and go for Tyler Reif. And Lane Riggs is going to win the race. Oh, a heartbreaker for Tyler Reif, who was doing all he could to hold on. And he overdrives the bus stop with 2 corners to go. After all that calamity, the dominant truck of the race still wins. Lane Riggs is your winner in San Diego. That was a brawl for all of an overtime finish. Margin of victory 1.3 seconds for Riggs over Hemrick. Kaz Gralla ends up in third. Landon Lewis fourth, and Ty Majeski rounding out the top 5 at 5th. Justin Haley in 6th. Tyler Reif ends up 7th after the stop-and-go penalty. Brendan Queen in 8th. Ben Rhodes 9th. Christian Eckes rounds out the top 10. My goodness. I thought we were going to see a Tyler Reif victory. He had it until he didn't. Riggs was tight. He kept the pressure on Tyler Reif. And then Reif overdrove it. The bus stop leads into turn 16, which is the final corner. And the bus stop is exactly where Tyler Reif blew, going through there, and man, oh man. Got a feel for him. Got a feel for Chandler Smith, too, who made contact with Caden Honeycutt, battling for the lead initially on the overtime restart. I don't know what happened to Honeycutt because the camera panned away. From the leaders for a good 20 seconds. And then when they panned back, I didn't know who was in the lead because we had missed so much, and it was Daniel Hemrick and Lane Riggs battling side by side. Tyler Reif in the mix, obviously. And Reif taking the race lead away from Riggs, who did make a mistake that left the door open for the 19. Then there was contact between the 19 and 34. The 42 nabs the lead for both of them. Unbelievable. I hear fireworks going on outside of my apartment. I mean, that's got to be because of the finish of this race. That was insane. Riggs a winner in San Diego. Rest of the finishing order out of the top 10. You got Gio Ruggiero finishing 11th, Minnie Tyrell 12th, Tanner Gray 13th, Chris Wright 14th, Adam Andretti 15th, Cole Butcher 16th, Brendan Gaughan 17th, Austin Varco 18th, Parker Kligerman 19th, and Frankie Muniz in 20th. Andres Perez 21st, Chandler Smith ends up 22nd, and 23rd for Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt actually ended up a lap down in 23rd. I think he might have pulled off the track with damage after he had contact with Smith on that restart. '24th place finish for Connor Mosack, Justin Marks 25th, Dawson Sutton 26th, Jackson Lee 27th, Nathan Nicholson 28th, Grant Enfinger 29th, and Jimmy Johnson 30th. Unfortunately, Johnson's truck stalled out before that first restart with 2 to go prior to overtime. After he had led laps, ran top 3 most of the day. Tough finish for the driver, the number 1 tonight. Tyler Ankrum finishes 31st, Jake Garcia 32nd, Stuart Friesen 33rd, Jamie McMurray 34th, and Corey LaJoy rounds out the 35 truck field. Lane Riggs out of the truck on the front stretch in celebration. He is your winner of today's race.
So young man right there, great talent, taking in the following the footsteps of his father.
Third win in the last 4 weeks. What a finish. Our winner is ready to talk. Let's hear from Caitlin.
4th win of the season for Riggs.
That's right, Jamie. Lane Riggs will forever be the first race winner here at Coronado. Lane, what does it mean to you to know your name is going to be in the history books for NASCAR forever with this win?
Lane Van Rieksbergen came to play today, man. I got the second street course win. We're undefeated street courses. Hey, much respect, Shane. I wish I could be as good as you one day, man. But I'm going to take all my glory here in the truck series. But thank you to everybody at the end. I don't even know what happened at the end. It's sparks flying, people wrecking, staying in the throttle. I was running out of fuel the entire last lap. It was like St. Pete all over again. Great job with Rice there. I wasn't going to – fake left to scare him, and he missed the corner. I wasn't really going to dive it in there, and it worked for me. So I hate that Chandler got taken out there in the 11. They definitely had it won. They beat us on strategy. We just didn't have the tires, and when we stayed out, because we figured the NOP, the tires prevailed. Just what a crazy race today with the strategy and everything else. But yeah, amazing historic win. We got Mattermost on the truck this weekend. Thank you to everybody at Ford Racing. Joey Han, you the man. We're 2 for 2 on street courses, man. This is awesome. So yeah, what a historic event. So thank you to everybody that's involved. Hopefully we put on a great race for all the fans that have never seen NAS trucks before.
You talked about how crazy this race was, but your team prevailed. How special is this group of guys that has helped you deliver week in and week out so far this season?
It's great. I mean, it's just we worked so hard. We were close last year, and this year we're just really hitting our stride. I mean, until the last lap to the 30 and the 11 wrecked, I was going to finish 4th or 5th, and it just fell in our lap, which I feel like things rarely fall in our lap in a good way. It's usually on a bad note. So we're using our luck up now. We just got to keep it paced through the season to make sure we have just enough for those last few races.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one. Lane Riggs with a historical win here in San Diego.
Congratulations, Lane Riggs, first ever winner of the San Diego Street Race and Naval Base Coronado. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And yeah, as he mentioned in his post race there, Lane Van Rieksbergen wins both street races in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series this season, St. Pete and here in San Diego. I will see you guys tomorrow. Doubleheader on the channel, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, our next live commentary stream, NASCAR Cup Series qualifying, followed by at 5 p.m. Eastern, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. And we'll also be live for the NASCAR Cup race on Sunday, and that will be at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll go live there. So thanks for tuning in here on this late Friday evening. West Coast racing continues throughout this weekend and next right here on the channel. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your Friday night. Stay safe, everybody.